What's up, everybody? Y'all already know it's another beautiful Saturday, May the 10th, on Operation Wisedome. Yes, our beautiful, amazing people. So blessed and so happy to be here and thankful for every day, every moment that we have amongst each other in this beautiful life. I want everybody just to unmute real quick and y'all say hello in Grand Rising.
Grand
Hello
Rising.
and Grand
Hello.
Rising.
Hello and Grand Rising.
Hello and Grand Rising.
Hello and
Hello and Grand Rising.
Straight up, straight up. What's up, everybody? What's up, Tony? What's up, Thomas? What's up, James? What's up, Matthew? What's up, Sydney? What's up, Alira? See, I would call you out, but you're not on screen on camera. Not my fault. What's up, Ty? So, how I wanted to start it off today is not about myself. We'll get into some things with me later. I wanted to get in first off with Ty and his situation. This past week, Ty had some things happen, and he went in there and stood on that jurisdiction like no other, bruh. He was not letting it go, and I think it's beautiful to see. Hey, Ty, you down to come up and tell your situation, Papa Bear?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Well, Cameron, you that 33-page affidavit of truth and memorandum of law. I think they, I I didn't expect him to read it, but I think she did. And I went in there and I got my no valid operator's license and obstructing law enforcement dismissed. And it was dismissed on the first basis in the affidavit, which it wasn't labeled as motions, but they looked at it as motions. And it was, she called it a motion to suppress evidence due to unlawful stop. And it's interesting. The prosecutor wanted to argue it because, see, I was pulled over for speeding, but I was pulled over on a Indian reservation, and it was the Nisqually Reservation Police who pulled me over, but they took me to Thurston County Jail, and the charges were all at the Thurston County Jail, but the speeding violation was based in the tribal community. And he never issued me a speeding ticket, but I did get that when they released me from jail, they gave me the two tickets that they dismissed. And about a month later, he tried to mail me the ticket for speeding, but I don't live at that address, and it was returned for better address. So they never got me with the speeding ticket. And so when they dismissed it based on unlawful stop, the prosecutor wanted to argue that because he wanted to argue the fact that I got a speeding ticket, and that's why I was stopped. And that wasn't mentioned in the affidavit. So, if he said he was going to appeal it, and it wasn't dismissed with prejudice. So, I guess it could get opened back up. I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, I don't think anything's going to happen because I think the judge didn't want to deal with it. She was done with it.
Straight up.
And so now my question is, since it was dismissed based on unlawful stop, they could argue, if I go back and file a civil claim now, and that's in the civil claim, are they going to open the case back up because of the fact that they want to argue the fact that there was probable cause for the stop based on their statutes?
I would say no. And the reason being is because you're not going to be attacking the prosecutor.
Okay.
You're only going after the illegal stop and the people that were the beginning of that stop, right? So if we're just going back to those who are responsible for the violations of your sacred liberties, nah, I wouldn't say that they'd open it back up. And the only reason they could open it back up, with what I see somebody saying right now, Sean, is the only aspect that they did it without prejudice and not with. Or vice versa, the opposite.
Say that again, Cam.
Is it-
The only reason they could open it back up?
Yeah, is whether they did it with or without prejudice. How'd they do it in your situation?
They didn't mention prejudice at all.
Well, then clearly it's just completely dismissed based on the order from the judge and has nothing to do. I guess it's just all suppress and dismiss then. So you just got a straight up dismissal, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You would also,
congratulations on another win, Cam.
No, congratulations to you, Ty. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to all of us.
Congr-
This stuff works,
Congratulations
man.
to Wisedome.
if I were you, I'd also look into, because I know in Texas, somewhere there's a rule that the state is not allowed to appeal. So you might want to look for that in your local rules too.
Okay. Yeah, I really don't think he's going to. I think he was just, he needed something to say.
Yeah, he had to at least say something on the state's behalf. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ty. Everybody unmute and give Ty congratulations.
Congratulations.
Ty.
Thank you. Thank you all for your help and support. Couldn't done it
Huge
without you all.
congrats. Huge congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ty's ready to bring a civil suit now.
Yeah. Now we're ready.
Civil suits for days, 1983. Yeah, we get paid. All right, so now let's move on. Thank you, Ty, for that. I appreciate you, Papa.
Thank you.
Now let's move over to Quentin. I do believe my boy Q's in this thing. Q, where you at? Q Star. Where you at, Q Star?
What's Gucci?
What's good? Oh, shit, we're lowering the voice. Damn, what's good? What's poppin'?
What's Gucci, brother?
What's
Quentin!
cracking?
Rusky. Barry White in the house.
Oh, before getting into Quentin's situation, today I did receive the Sovereignist Citizen booklet. This one's a small boy. This one's going to be available. I think if you're already a Foundational Wisedome member, you already got this PDF for free. I think I'm also, if you're a Foundational member, I think I'm also just going to mail you a copy for free as well. So just be on the lookout for that. I've already sent out an email. But yes, the Sovereignist Citizen book is now available in hard copy, or paperback, should I say. So that's pretty cool because now we've got, again, self-governing, bruh, and then we backdooring it, you know what I'm saying, with the Sovereignist Citizen. You dig what I'm talking about, boy? I don't see a better pair than that coming through, but it looks great. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, I want to make a comment on that too, Cameron.
Yeah, what's up?
I've read the Sovereignist. I've read both your books, and I have a theory of why we are winning these cases. Those of us that are having success, and I think it's based on one of the leading TED Talks. I can't remember the guy's name, but he says that it's not about how we win. It's not about what we did that wins. It's about why we do what we do. And Cam's book helped me with that. It helped me to realize that, I'm doing this because it's the same reason I got into alternative medicine. I was told that when we do it for one, we do it for all. It's the morphogenetic fields that create the change and create the difference. And when we have a why for what we're doing, then it changes everything. We don't win on doing it, on how we do it or what we did. It's the conviction that we have of why we're doing it that really gives us the win. And I'd like to hear from anybody else that's had a win, if they agree with that or would disagree with that, or what is your why? And Cam, I'd like to know what your why is, because you stand strong, man. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? You're muted, Cam.
If I do what I do and I have to give a reasoning for it, it's because I want a better world for my children. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I feel other people's pain, and I'm tired of seeing pain when there's no reason for it. I think love is so amazing, and to have love and to give love, I don't see how there can be hate. And I think the only reason we have hate is because we don't have enough love. So it's vice versa. Now you need both, right, to be able to even know what love is. But at the same time, I think we just got to elevate our people. It's time. Like we've gotten our country, which is so blessed and so sacred to even be on in the first place, which most people don't recognize. And we got to get it back to that knowing of encompassing and that unity of what we are, right? Gratitude to the great creator. So that's my why. Gratitude. And then just, I love helping people, bro.
And your book speaks volumes for that. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Ty. Appreciate it, Ty. All right, so let's get back over to wait, Quentin. Before coming to you, I'm actually because yours is a little bit longer. I'm actually gonna touch base with my boy over in New York. He got something just a little shorter. But hey, what's up, Andy? Where you at, bro?
What's up, Cam? Shout out Cam, man.
What's up, G? Man, my boy in this thing. Let's get it, dog. All right, so this my boy Andy. He's been on the back end with me. He ain't really been too much in the Wisedome, but he has been in the back end. How old are you? You were like 19, 18, something like that?
Nah. I'm 25.
Oh, okay. You look like you're 16 or something.
That's,
And,
that's a compliment. That's a
yeah,
compliment.
straight up. And then, so anyways, what's going down is my boy had a lawyer. He had a situation. I think it was a
Yeah.
pullover based on just quickly explain it. Don't take too long now. Just, give us
Just to briefly explain it, basically, I had put an
your
exempt plate
situation
on the,
only. Your situation only first.
but
Like just
what the,
like the stop and what happened.
yeah. So the stop and basically what happened was I put an exempt plate on my car. I didn't have it registered or anything, and basically I got pulled over due to the plate. On the case narrative, there wasn't no probable cause or moving violation that was stated. He literally just pulled me over on basis of the plate. Um, what more would you like me to get into, Cam, in regards to that? Like in regards to like how it happened or
Yeah,
the
just how you got pulled over. Well, I got you. Don't worry. All
yeah.
right, so my boy, what ends up happening is no moving violations whatsoever. He gets pulled over for having his notice placard on his vehicle, private conveyance, right? I do believe within the placard it also says UCC 9-109, but sometimes the placards, in my opinion, can get a little bit too damn busy, right? You just got too much being displayed. I kind of like what Quentin does on his. It just says private. Big bold letters like "Don't fuck with me." I'm making
Yeah.
it clearly established here what's happening. Okay, you've been put on notice. Easy, not hard to understand there. So, with that being said, though, like he gets pulled over. I think they tow the car. They take you to jail.
Yeah.
They took him to jail and everything for what? No crime. Okay. So homeboy goes to jail. He's got a lawyer. Lawyer ain't really helping him too much. But what just happened this past week? What you do? What won't you lace this up on that? That's what I'm wanting. You've never defended yourself in court or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, so basically in my last court hearing, they had to do the Ferretta inquiry to basically for the judge to be able to say that I'm competent enough to represent myself. Once again, first time doing that. So upon like going through the questions, the judge that wasn't asking me questions in regards to me being competent. He was more so asking me questions that had to do with like the case in regards to the controversial topic in regards of the act of driving, the privilege of driving, and the right to travel. So that's where we got into more of so of like a back and forth in regards to these questions don't show my level of competency. These are you trying to make an argument in regards to making having my action become subject to your jurisdiction, stating that I was engaged in a privilege when I was practicing my right. So between hearings, what had occurred was I had got a couple hearings, phone calls with Cam, and basically he had set me up with like my motion for dismissal, my affidavit, and a notice of liability. Um, Upon filing them onto the court clerk, when I went to court that day, the judge was basically stating that like I couldn't do any of the things that I had done like throughout the midst of each hearing due to the fact that I had a court appointed attorney. And I told him that none of the things that I did was through the attorney. That was on my behalf due to my Sixth Amendment right of self-representation. And it was actually favored on my behalf due to the fact that Cam, I didn't tell you about this, but basically, you see how I called the court appointed attorney the same day?
Yeah.
And told him that I gave him the notice of termination. At court, he actually stated that I called him 3 weeks prior to that day to validate the fact that I had done everything that I did.
Ooh.
I'm getting into that now. So basically, I forgot to file it to the state.
Hmm. A
But it was
major
brought,
mistake.
but it was brought to notice that I was trying to schedule a meeting with the ADA.
Okay.
So on the grounds, I guess, that I had tried to schedule that meeting, the court itself filed it to the state, which was what had them have noticed prior to my court hearing, which actually played in my favor.
Let's go. The court's
So
finally doing something they're supposed to be doing.
yeah, actually. So basically, the judge was trying to just. I would say at that moment when I reached out to you, when I was first indulging in it, I thought like they were trying to like railroad me, but I felt like now that I broke it down, they were just giving me the runaround and like how the court procedures work. Like yo, you're just not,
Oh.
huh?
They're trying to like at first they just want to run the show and run it through a procedure like
Yeah,
always and everybody else. And now that you in that thing, now they getting a little
yeah.
bit more talky, getting a little bit more squirmy.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. Like when the judge started realizing that I knew what I was talking about, that he started all right, now I'm actually looking to your motion for dismissal.
Yeah, see?
So
Now check this
basically,
out. This a good segue just for 1 second too. What we've had happen is we've had to put on reconsiderations, rehearings. We've had to put in really all kinds of documents into the record and upon the court to really get them to do exactly what we're saying.
hmm
Alir is a good case of that. I think actually we were just talking about this yesterday, how we have to, it's almost like you have to say it at least 3 times, if not double back. I think me and Thomas was even saying that. It's it's something in relation to listen here. I don't know what you're not understanding about what I done said, but somebody gonna listen here today, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
once that gets done, it's like they do listen. Like we're watching it being done on a higher district level straight to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court answer right back to us and being like, "Yo, you need to do this for us to even accept this." And it's like, "Oh shit, you giving me legal advice? Let's do this." What?
yeah.
I'll take that. So, what? Nigga? Right, Alir. Right, Alir.
I did the same thing in court, Cam. They kept calling me Mr. Azeltine, and first thing I said is, let's get one thing clear. I am not Mr. Azeltine. I'm not the defendant, So you just got to stand up there and tell them, I'm
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah, it's like the cops too when they be out in the roads. No, sir, you're driving. Well, if you're out here driving, didn't I already tell you I'm not driving, bro? Why you keep saying that, dumbass?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you got power over me. Is if I admit to that. I'm not gonna admit to that. Stop saying it. Anyways,
And I felt like that was a controversial point, and that actually that was no, not a controversial. It was the turning point in the court hearing. Basically, when the judge had stated my right to drive, and I said, "Hold on, you're stating that the privilege to drive is a right? No, no, no. It's a privilege to
yeah.
operate in a commercial capacity." Now I'm telling you that I was engaged in my right to travel, which I brought up it being part of like the Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution of the State of New York,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the Constitution of the United States,
Mm.
which the citizens cannot be deprived of their right to
My
life,
God,
liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
listen to this nigga. What?
Yeah, and basically,
Yeah.
part of my pursuit of part of my right to liberty is my right to travel, which you guys are depriving me of due to the color of law. Man, he got tight. He
He got
got tight
tight.
right there.
How tight? How tight he get?
Yo, everything he was saying, he was looking over at the cops to try to have them validate what he was saying. And I was like, look, under the supremacy clause, he was like, do you even know what the supremacy clause
Oh
is? And
my
I was
God,
like,
y'all
look,
getting hostile in New York. Tell me you recorded this, please.
man, I was like, yo, under Article 6, Section 2,
Wait, did you
man.
record it? Did you record it?
Unfortunately, no, I didn't. That's
Oh,
like the only thing that I be having trouble with here in New York. Like, man, I want to get like a pen that's like a microphone or
yeah.
something. Like a,
Anthony got one of those. Shout out to my boy Anthony up in Michigan. Go ahead and
yeah.
shoot him the link, Anthony.
I also know someone who has a watch that's a recorder.
Okay, watch two.
Nice.
Now we coming in James Bond style. Yo, I hoping y'all wise don't. Hey, Andy, I appreciate you, bro, for coming up and talk. But I hoping y'all seeing from Andy talking, we ain't playing. He just got another one getting rid of the attorney.
Yeah.
Another one getting rid of the attorney. Like, no, we don't need you no more, bro. Let me get all my power back. You know what I'm talking about?
The last thing I wanted to say in regards to my court hearing, Cam, was you see how normally like in my other court hearings, like other court, like in another different court, not this White Plains court, they would just deny your motion right there. Like they would deny my motion, like, oh, your motion is denied. And upon giving like challenges to the judge in regards to like subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, like directly,
Mm.
um I didn't even have to tell him that I needed a formal written response in regards to like any motion that he was gonna do, whether it was gonna be like
Well, you did in a sense, right? Because you did it verbally.
You ain't lied there. You ain't
Ah,
lied there.
it's
Yeah,
the
you ain't
verbal,
lied
it's a
there.
oral. It's in the oral aspect. It's
Mm-hmm.
in the oral form, right? ORAL.
So
Orally.
basically, they have until the 19th to respond to my motion for dismissal. If the state responds to it by the 19th, I have until the 27th, and then I'll be back in court June 11th to give you guys the update on it.
Look at my boy on the date.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, straight up. Tell it. Yo, everybody give a round of applause. Unmute real quick and give a round of applause for Andy, if you don't mind.
Thank you,
Andy.
Cam.
Did
Good
your thing.
work. Good work.
Mhm.
Proud of that youngster. You go ahead.
I appreciate y'all. Honestly, this community really is. It has people keep going because honestly, I think we all could say that being in this journey, it gets lonely. You know, when the whole world around you really just
Hell
doesn't
yeah.
believe what you're talking about, to have people around you that
100%.
believes you and can back you in regards to what you're doing has to be one of the most motivational pushes to actually stand up and fight for your rights. So shout out Cam, shout out Wisedome, and shout out all of y'all for everything y'all do.
Kabam!
Damn.
That boy dropped the mic on him.
Yes, he did.
All right, check it. So, that's a good transition. I appreciate that, Andy. Well spoken, well good. I'm proud of you, bro. You're doing good, my G. I'm really proud of you. So we're going to Quentin next. My boy Q Dog, the Q Star. Come on up, Q Dog. What's up, my G?
Hey, good stuff, man. That's freaking awesome. I love seeing the younger crowd get into it too, because I mean, you're only a few years younger than me, but I mean, it's just we can't let this momentum stop. We got to keep teaching younger and younger children. Like I want to see 50 people 25 and under at the next event, you know?
Yeah, straight up. You know what's cool too is
Amazing.
that we're making everything by showing and being open and transparent that we're just normal people that just want to be free, bro.
Right. We're
They've
not some
made,
crazy people.
yeah, they've made this whole aspect of being free as in some kind of we're attacking. It's like, bruh, I'm trying to unify. Like, what don't you get about that? Well, you trying to fight me because I want to unify? Like, come on now, get it right. So, yeah, that's the problem. They ain't gonna be able to ever dismiss what we have as far as moving forward in our mission, our goals, and everything that we stand for. Because again, it's all based on unity, integrity, morals, honor, and respect, and the preservation of life. And that's the most important thing. We got to start preserving life. We got to start preserving happiness again within our nation. Happiness brings upon joy, and it brings upon so much creativity. I mean, my God, our country was once great, and look what it has become. So we got to get that back. Q, I'm yielding the floor to you. This is my boy. Y'all know he's been going through evidentiary discovery. Go ahead, pop him off, Q.
All right. Well, so where we left off last was Discovery production was supposed to be completed by my side and the state by April 30th at 5 p.m. The state, man, I don't even know where to go to this because there's just so many little angles that we need to talk about. But the state the state gave me two pieces of evidence with Discovery. First off was a warrantless arrest affidavit. I'm on my phone, I can't point. Warrantless arrest affidavit and the incident report. And both of those things, they were basically the same document stating, you know, what happened during the arrest. It's their recap. Well, interestingly, they have a lot of differing points. Like my address is different on both of them, and bunch of other little things. So I went through and highlighted all the inconsistencies. Anyway, so went to court last week. We were the four of us: Matthew, Kate, Sydney, myself, and we were on our way up there. And the day before, we got up there, I got an email from the district attorney's assistant. So my district attorney, her assistant sent an email saying, "Hello, Quentin." This is a little paraphrase, but "Hello, Quentin. Good morning. We have body camera footage for you to review before the hearing." And we were all kind of like, "Really? You're gonna say I can come review the body camera footage when the discovery said you have to give copy of the body camera footage?" So we were all a little confused and pissed off by that. Like, really? You're gonna try and save face 24 hours before court. That's disgusting. So we were like, you know what? Let's just not reply. So, because our plan was to go talk to the DA in person and tell her, give her another opportunity before we go to court to dismiss. Well, we get almost all the way there, and then we get another email that says, "I'm sorry, Quentin, I misspoke. There is no body camera footage for you to review. Thank you for your time."
No! No! Where's the body cam footage?
Yeah, so that's pretty wild that they said that. So that would be the third time now that they have said, "Oh, there's body camera footage. No, you can't see it."
Oh my God.
Sounds
They
like
they back
denial of due process.
100%. So they
Tampering
back
evidence.
I mean, we could also get prosecutorial misconduct in there as well, as far as them acting, because if they never really had it in the first place, how are you to
Right.
say that you were going to provide it or didn't want to?
Can the case be dismissed based on just that?
Fuck yes. Fuck yes, it can.
So let's skip the shenanigans. Let's get it
What
dismissed.
are you trying to say? Stop the long talk?
Yes.
Oh, I wanted to get a little bit of long talk going though.
Well, okay. So
He's been
I
going
have-
on with this case for a while now.
Well,
Nuh-uh.
we just found out though. We did just find out, so you got to give us that.
Well,
Okay,
guys,
so-
I would say that the longer you discourse with them and keep them engaged, the more evidence against them you're going to get. So keep on going. All right?
Keep on going, getting evidence.
I hope
Cause
you're
you got
I hope
good
you're making an
faith
invoice
on
for
your
this.
side.
Yes, invoice them. Yes, fee schedule.
Fee schedule. Yeah, because you know what? You can impose sanctions, okay, for wasting
So
your damn
that's-
time. And as a pro se litigant, you have just as much power to charge just as much as the average of what the attorneys are charging. Believe me,
Yep.
I know. I've done the research.
Believe that.
So we actually did the math, and it cost me about $15,000 a trip to go to Omaha and back. 5 hours travel plus gas, food, hotel. The four of us, our time, we're valuing our time at $150 an hour, which is like entry level attorney rate. So yeah, it's about $15,300 per trip. So they will be getting a bill for that. Anyway, so trying to keep my train on the tracks here. So that was pretty disrespectful that they like, why would she even send an email saying you have body camera footage to review if you're gonna 6.5 hours later say, oh, never mind, we don't actually have any. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So anywho, we continue on. We get to Omaha, we meet with the prosecutor before court. And I asked her, hey, just thanks for meeting with me. I'd like to give you another opportunity to dismiss with prejudice. And she said, oh, no, that's not going to happen. And I said, okay, well, I'd just like to get your opinion on why that is. And she said, oh, I don't dismiss things just because you ask for it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I'll see you in court. So court comes around and
Wait. That's literally how the conversation went?
yeah, we recorded it. Yeah,
Wow, what a bitch.
That's
bro.
nearly verbatim. Too.
that's verbatim. Yep.
She's bitch, bro. So just know that she's sour, okay? Because she's not gonna win this. That's
She
clearly
is.
what's going on. You can tell that is what it is. There's a sourness, there's a hate there. Seems as though it's within herself, not directly towards you. It's not like you did anything to harm this person. You just stood on your ground. And this is why we stand on our ground again, is to get evil people out that do this to people. Like, he didn't hurt nobody, so why are you treating him like a criminal? You should be treated fair. You should be treated with honor. You should be treated with respect. And she's not doing such. So if you're not doing such in a public capacity for those, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Go ahead, Quinn.
Yeah. So that's how that went. Then we get to court, and Matthew, should I just give a little excerpt of what I read? Just a quick summary of what you think I should? Okay. So I have my document pulled up here.
Yeah, brief a few words on it, like the summary of each paragraph, because
Yeah.
it took you 8 minutes to read it.
Yeah, it was an 8-minute oral motion that I filed.
We
And
timed it beforehand so we would know.
Yeah, we had to time it. Yep. So there's 4 sections. First section is incomplete discovery production. And from sentence 1, against Cam's advisement, he said, "Don't attack the prosecutor," but I didn't technically attack the prosecutor. I attacked the prosecutorial misconducts that have been happening under her. I mean, she's in charge of the case, you know, so it is her in a way.
Well, I
But
like that. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
I didn't attack her character. I didn't accuse her of anything, but I did state some very powerful words that she took as an attack. So the first sentence: let the record reflect that the state, through prosecutor Madison McNary and the Sarpy County Attorney's Office, has refused on multiple occasions to provide lawfully requested and court-ordered discovery materials. Most importantly, audio and video evidence. We'll skip ahead. Without this footage and the other evidence, the case would rely on the officer's account, which may be biased, incomplete, or inaccurate.
That's supposed to be downstairs.
Then, the next paragraph is me stating every time that I requested the body camera, which was first in October 4th of 2024. I got arrested September 30th, October 4th. I requested for the first time, denied because it was part of ongoing investigation. Then I did another FOIA January 17th. Then I had a phone call with Miss McNary after she had just got on the case February 21st, and she refused access to discovery materials over the phone. Actually, take that back. She said, "Hey, yeah, I got some footage here. I'm going over it, but I have more on Monday." This was a Friday, and I was like, "Okay, sounds good. Call me back then." 5 minutes later, she calls me back and says, "Oh, actually, the court hasn't ordered me to provide any footage, so I'm not going to be giving you anything." And that's almost verbatim. And then the fourth time I was denied was April 2nd, 2025, pretrial conference. And she said she was, quote, not comfortable providing me copies of discovery materials on the record. And just before that, she had stated that she would she would allow me to come review footage and discovery materials. So she said I could come review it, and then like 1 minute later, she said she's not comfortable giving me copies. And then
So what
and
is
then
that? That's major code
That's
of
pretty
ethics.
gross.
Well, it's major code of ethics violations.
That's bad faith. That is not even medium faith. That is
100%.
bad faith.
100% will not stand at all, especially with witnesses around.
Right. Yep.
You come through with a declaration and others to support that as far as exhibits of what transpired, you might just have you a closed case right there.
Man, it's interesting because I read this whole thing, and yeah, we'll keep going, and I'll recap. But then I said this pattern of conduct is not mere oversight; it rises to the level of prosecutorial misconduct and represents a complete failure to uphold judicial fairness. If a party fails to make a required disclosure of or cooperate in discovery, the court may order sanctions. These sanctions include dismissing the case. Let's keep going.
Terminating sanctions.
I haven't filed for any sanctions yet, but this was an order for dismissal. But I haven't filed this with the court yet because I wanted to read it orally and then file it later. I'll continue as to why here in just a minute.
Okay, thanks.
To deny you discovery is a very big violation too. You know, not only is it unethical, but it's contrary to civil procedure or criminal procedure because they're required to give it to you without a judge's order.
Yep, and the judge did in fact order it as well.
It's a Brady violation. It's a Brady violation.
I have
That's
that.
a
I have
Supreme
that
Court
here.
case.
Yep, I have some case law and also obviously the Nebraska rules of professional conduct and some other things in here. I'm pretty happy with this document. I think we did pretty well on it. Sorry, Cam, I didn't use your version because I had to use the one that came from my heart. Yours was great, but I had to speak from my own heart and tell my own truth. So I appreciate you, brother.
Straight up, bro. You're good. Everybody got to do their own thing. That's the whole point of why we do what we do. It's to empower you to build your confidence, to eliminate the fear and intimidation, and stand on you, your personality, your perspective, you. I'm just trying to get you like I'm like the daddy bird. If the daddy bird was to stick around to push your ass up out the nest, bro.
Yep.
Nigga.
Well, that's the whole thing of passing around documents so we can learn from each other, you know. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's like, it's not dissing anybody, not using somebody else's thing, but to give you an idea how to be inspired to do your own, and sometimes you come up with some pretty brilliant things. So
Hey,
continue.
I hope you cheat off my homework. So, to continue on, I mentioned I've made 4 trips to Omaha, totaling over 50 hours of travel, hundreds of hours of cumulative preparation, many thousands of dollars in lost earnings for myself and my unpaid legal counsel, all under the belief that I would finally receive basic evidence required for my due process. Respectfully, let the record state that the state has promised that they would provide discovery on the record and proceeded not to comply. We are well past the point of good faith delay. In fact, I have gone to great lengths to ensure that my filed documents and evidence, my actions in the courtroom, and all my efforts have been in good faith. It has come to the point that I am apprehensive to the fact that my filed motions are not being read in their entirety. As a non-law professional, I am putting forth my best efforts to properly follow court procedures. However, due to the prosecution's delinquency in the production of discovery evidence, it affirms that there has been misconduct. At this time, I formally submit for the record that the state is in default. Their pattern of noncompliance strips me of the presumption of fairness owed to every man. Intentional failure to preserve or provide exculpatory evidence may violate due process. There is no just reason this case should continue while I remain deprived of essential tools to mount a defense.
Hey, no more using that may. In your mind, it's already happened.
It has happened.
Oh, well, you said may. I heard a may. No more mays.
Yep,
When you
you're
come
right.
through, there ain't no, it may seem as though it does. In my eyes right now, and everybody else, enforce it. You got to enforce it.
It
Right, that was
rather than may, it appears that you've done this, right?
right.
Right? Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I also tried to make sure that I didn't directly accuse them of any wrongs because I don't have physical evidence that they had evidence other than them saying it multiple times that they did because I never physically saw it, but I tried not to actually accuse them of it. I was just stating that these are all really egregious acts if they were to have happened. I was basically trying to paint a picture for the judge. So then the next paragraph was talking about the court clerk's process related concerns. I'm not going to go through that too much, but basically, I didn't even get the discovery order for over a week after after it was ordered.
Wait,
and I had to.
You didn't even get it in the mail, did you?
No, I still have not received it in the mail. The only way that I received it is by calling them multiple times a week, asking if it was in the mail. They said they had sent it. I never got it. They said
Homeboy
they
had to
never got it
beg.
back.
Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Homeboy had to beg in his court.
I literally
Another
begged.
quick example too is that like with Miguel and his situation out in Pennsylvania, the judge had did the same thing kind of to him. Well, not kind of the same thing, but she had essentially denied a motion that he had filed for, and not even reading the document. Homeboy literally had to file another. I think we did like a reconsideration or something like that, and it's like, look at the documents. Like it's telling you what you're supposed to do. And then they finally, the judge was like, oh shit, yeah, I better do that. And I better send it over to the Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court immediately get right back to a nigga like telling him exactly what he needs to do for them to be able to move forward. Like telling him. So this shit's getting crazy out here as far as these judges. That's why if we look at the difference between what we're seeing on the Supreme Court side versus what we're getting on these municipals, it's you got to start being like, listen, you got a duty. I'm not gonna sit here and play with you. I know what I am to deserve going through dealing with the Supreme Court, dealing with higher level district courts. Like I'm not gonna sit here and argue about these manners as far as my due process is concerned because it is due to me, guaranteed to me. You nor nobody here is going. You see what I'm saying? It might be in that aspect when they get rough and rowdy if they do. But go.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I had to literally beg the county attorney's office and they eventually just emailed it to me. So I lost a week there and still had to produce my discovery by the April 30th deadline, even though I only received the order April 21st. So that put me at a disadvantage there. Moving on, the next paragraph is, I'm going to skip this one, but it's talking about the lack of official rulings on filed motions. The judge did not he hadn't ruled, to my knowledge, until we got to court that he had formally ruled on some things because again they didn't get sent to me in the mail, so I was missing documentation that again puts me at a disadvantage. But we'll skip that for now. And then the last section is the powerful one. So basically, I started by roasting roasting the county attorney because they were in default. They didn't provide me evidence. They kept flip flopping me back and forth. Oh, we have evidence. No, we don't. Oh, we have evidence. No, you can't see it. They did that 3 times to me. So then we're going down to dismissal with prejudice. For the record, I must respectfully compel this court to dismiss this case with prejudice due to the repeated and continuing violations of my right to discovery as guaranteed under Nebraska Revised Statute, Brady v. Maryland, in Article 11, Section 11 of the Nebraska Constitution. Given the above facts and procedural hiccups in the pretrial conferences and discovery, I worry that a similar level of due process violations and defaults will continue to evidentiary hearings, and if it makes it that far, to trial. Humbly, I am here as a living man with no intent to harm and have only shown good faith and due diligence since September 30th, the beginning of this trauma and the cause of my irreparable harm. I have 0 mens rea and there is no corpus delicti in regards to this case, and the prosecution hasn't brought any evidence proving otherwise. I am but a man standing on his creator endowed rights. As a man sincerely coming from the heart, I pray this case be dismissed at once. So that was the end of my document. And then I have an exhibit, which is showing those emails where I was mentioning, yeah, she said directly, there is body worn camera. Why would they say this if they didn't have body worn camera? She said, quote, there is body worn camera that is available to view. You can come to the county attorney's office before court to review the body worn camera. 6.5 hours later, regarding the earlier email that was sent to you today regarding reviewing the video, my apologies as I misspoke. There is not any video to view. Thank you for your time. Why would they send that if they are they lying? Are they covering up? Did it get deleted and they didn't realize it? I just don't know what they're doing, but
Well, did homeboy didn't the previous prosecutor say something about it too, or no?
I didn't talk to him about it.
You never got to him about that?
No, I never talked to him about it.
And then you do got responses though in relation to that the other people have it, right? Like when you requested it back then, it was like, oh well, we can't provide that because that's in an ongoing investigation.
Exactly. I have FOIA request denial letters, of course, and I put those into evidence for discovery.
And then what they say?
I mean, nothing's been said about discovery materials.
Well, no,
yet.
I mean in the aspect on.
Oh, I'd have to look back on it, but they basically said because this, and this statute and an ongoing criminal investigation, we
Okay.
can't give it to you.
Okay, so we got it, but we can't give it to you based on.
That's what it seemed like, right?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so
That's tampering with evidence for sure.
100%. So, okay, so this was a very interesting pretrial conference for us. So I got done reading that, and Matthew, would you like to play Miss McNary?
Oh, if y'all need share capabilities, I got y'all. Let's see, advanced.
We're good right now. He just needs
all
to.
right.
Matthew's gonna play prosecutor. Give the prosecutor's response.
I can remember what she said.
All right, you're good to go. If you need to share some.
Thank you.
You don't remember nothing? Come on, man.
What am I
Responding to what?
responding to what? Yeah.
To I read all that and then she blew up on me. How'd she blow up on me?
Oh,
What'd she say?
she like threw her chair to the side, put her leg out and arm up, and she was just like,
That's unfortunate.
You know what? This is just unfortunate. I mean, he's accusing me of prosecutorial misconduct. The court ordered discovery, and I went and I checked, and they didn't have any. So, and I emailed them, and what they say? They said they just didn't have any.
And I can't do anything.
And I can't do anything about that. So, I don't know what else you want from me. I did what I could do.
And then she said, it's just unfortunate. She said that at least twice, maybe more.
I think like 3 or 4 times.
She went on a 45-second nothing burger rant. She had nothing of value to say, and all she could say was, it's just unfortunate. And the judge just didn't really say anything to it. So then what happened after that was the judge said, okay, well, you gave this motion orally. Do you have it filed with the county clerk? And I said, no, it's been a living document. Some of this I added this morning on the way here. So I will be filing it. And he said, okay, I'll give you recess. You have 30 minutes less. It was less than 30 minutes. It was like 22 minutes to go. He gave me recess to go finish editing it. Oh, by the way, I went very last, as you'd imagine, of course, out of 25 cases that were there today.
We
So he
only
gave me
20 minutes.
yeah, it gave me like 22 minutes to go edit and then print and then file with the court this motion. I was like, okay, we'll do it. So we ran out to the car, typed it up, removed some things, added some things, ran back into the county clerk and said, okay, I'm ready to file it. And they said, oh, we don't have a printer and you can't send anything via email to us. I was like, all right, well, can you please send a note to the stenographer that we came here and tried? Like we gave our best effort, due diligence was paid. And they said, yeah, we'll do that. So we walk into court at we walk into court and then I get called back up and then the judge is like, all right, did you have a chance to file it? And I told him what happened. It didn't work. And the stenographer said, yeah, I got an email saying that he tried. And then then I said, okay, well, you have my word that I was acting in good faith and due diligence. I came in here before 4 and he said it was 3:59 actually. I saw you. I was like, "Uh-huh. Okay. I heard you. I heard you, judge." And then um so I said I'd like to say something else. He said, "Briefly." And I said, it's just really hard for me to internalize that there were 6 cop cars. That means there were at least 6 officers, probably more. I couldn't count them all. And that all of those officers and cruisers did not get a single second of body camera footage. How does that happen? It's just hard for me to believe. And the judge sat silent for 2, 3, 4 seconds, right? And then he scratched his head. He's like, Miss McNary, to be clear, you asked for the body camera and cruiser footage from Sarpy County sheriffs, correct? And she said, yes, I did. And he said, and they didn't provide any to you, correct? She said, no, they did not. And she said, they didn't have any at all, then, is what you're saying. And she said, no, they did not. And the judge was like, okay. So basically, what I think came about of that whole hearing was the judge has even more doubt that the prosecutor is working in good faith. Um, Again, I don't have any receipts necessarily to say that she was, other than the emails and the phone calls where she said she had body camera footage and then didn't, which at best case for her, she was just lying or confused, which still looks bad on her anyway. So, um,
It's
yes.
totally a definite violation of a speedy trial. It's totally a violation of due process. There's so many violations here that the case cannot stand. All you have to do is put it in the package, get some case law in there that backs it up, and make some
I have to
decisions.
submit by Wednesday, so
Yeah, it should be.
Not
pretty-
Quentin, not to derail where you're at, but just a suggestion because it may affect other people trying to do the same thing. Do you guys know what a subpoena ducis tecum is?
yes, we do.
So did you file that in this case?
I have not, but we went. So let me tell the next part, and then please come back to that
Sure,
because
okay.
it's very directly related.
Oh.
So the judge reluctantly, he's like, well, I don't want this to go on any longer. It's already been 7 months since you were arrested, and we need to move this to trial. But he's like, but there's a pending motion, so I can't move to trial. So get that in by Wednesday. And any other motions you would like to file up to 1 week before June 4th. So the judge cut me a little slack there. However, he doesn't. I don't get why he can't see the problems here and can't just dismiss it based off of that. But we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so June 4th. So we were like, all right, we have more time, but we need to go talk to the jail and ask them for video because obviously I was removed from a cop car and walked into jail. So there's got to be footage of that from the jail. And then we also were like, we need to go talk to the sheriff's department directly ourselves and ask for footage. So first we go to the jail and we talk to a deputy there, and he was the most eager person we've actually talked to. He was really happy to help. He's like, yeah, I'll get on this today. we're like, hey, can you produce any video evidence? Can you also give us your policy for the video And so he's like, all right, yeah, I'll get onto it. Then we go to the sheriff's department. We go to the sheriff, and it's like Fort Knox there. We walk up, there's like an entryway. You go through the first set of doors, and then the second doors are locked, and there's a little ring camera. And you're not even allowed to go in the building. You have to speak to the lady through a camera. And she was almost no help. Yeah, she said, she basically, I mean, I'm trying to summarize it, but otherwise, long story short, she basically just said you have to subpoena for body camera footage. So we looked up the subpoena deuces take 'em.
They also
And
said that you have to subpoena to get the policy of their body cam footage itself too.
which is BS because that should be public knowledge. So this is in Nebraska, by the way. So yeah, that was almost no help other than now we are, Cam, we need to get with you on a subpoena. Never done one of those. But I'm sorry, who was speaking about the subpoena? I didn't see your name.
If I could jump in here real quick, subpoenas deuces tecum is 25, 30 bucks. You just go to the law library. They have a form. You fill it out, and the clerk stamps it when you pay the fee. And so, and then you can serve under Rule 5. It's not hard to get. It's very easy. And then if they don't comply, it's a court order. And so then you go to the court and you say motion to show cause or demand.
You're cutting out, Sean. You're cutting out.
Sorry for cutting out. It's very easy to get a deuces tecum. It comes from the clerk of the court. You don't have to go to the judge.
Yeah, and Quentin, in some small courts, they're pre-signed, and if you ask the clerk of the court for the document, she may have already pre-stamped, pre-signed ones there.
Interesting. We called the court clerk, and they said we can't give legal advice, which is what they always say. They are absolutely no help.
The other alternative is motioning. When you're actually in court, you can motion for those subpoenas while you're there.
Okay.
Again, can you guys hear me? Go to the law library. What town are you in? You're in Nebraska?
We're 5 hours from where the court is going, but I could go to my local one, yeah.
Yeah, or you could probably print a deuces tecum right off a PDF right off line.
Yeah.
Typically, the courts will have free PDFs on their website. Print it, fill it out by hand, take it to the clerk of court, pay their fee. It's like it's 25 bucks, 30 bucks here. It's 35 now here in Pima County. Pay the fee, and they law stamp is the original, and then you can make copies of it. And then you, under Rule 5, you can serve yourself. You can serve it to them by hand, or even by certified mail, or an affirmation of service, and file that on the record, and you're friggin' good to go.
All right. Yeah, we started looking into that process. We didn't complete our research, but it seems like that's the way to go. We want to subpoena any and all body cam. See, my fear is that they have a 90-day. So what the jail said is they have a 90-day policy. The deputy at the jail got back to me in a couple hours, and they have a 90-day deletion policy, which makes sense, right? But it's also part of an ongoing investigation, a criminal case. So there's got to be policy in there that says if it's part of an ongoing investigation, you have to keep it till it's over, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're asking for the policy. But the biggest thing that we came up with out of this, what do we say? We're dirt digging. we did the prosecutor's job for her because she, I don't want to say she didn't, but if she did a very poor job. Yeah. So what we did come up with is, dang it, what was I trying to say that yeah, the email, that was what I was going to say next, but yeah, so they said that's what the guy from the jail said, and then the next, so that was Wednesday.
Can I interrupt you real quick? Is that okay?
Well, let me finish my train of thought before I forget it again.
Okay.
So Thursday we went and did that dirt digging, and then Friday we got an email from the prosecutor, and this is where I'll try and screen share because this email is pretty wild. Okay, let me see how to do this.
It's a big deal though. Like within the FOIAs that we requested early on, both the first and second, if I'm not mistaken, there was a statement that we made to preserve all audio, video evidence that one could have against him.
Correct.
They did not do that. That's their own fucking fault as well. The case must be dismissed, bro. It has to be dismissed.
Well, we're gonna have to talk on the back end on how to make the judge do that because he sees these motions and he just doesn't do anything about it. So, anyway, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is an email I got Friday after we went around dirt digging, right? Quentin, as you know, my office had requested discovery as it relates to any body-worn camera and or cruiser footage from the September 30th, 2024 incident. We were informed by the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office that there was no digital evidence had been submitted, which should be a policy violation, right? Why would the county sheriff not submit digital evidence on a criminal case that has a misdemeanor that has a possible jail time sentence? That seems like it's got to be a policy violation. Yesterday, May 8th, 2025, I was informed that you went to the Sarpy County Jail following your May 7th hearing requesting camera footage from 9/30/2024. The deputy said, or that you spoke to, noted that you claimed to be a defense attorney. Based on that interaction, I too inquired into the jail footage and was told that it is preserved for only so long. I then followed up again about the body-worn camera and cruiser footage in an attempt to determine if any body-worn camera and or cruiser footage existed but was not
Yes,
preserved.
brother.
I spoke with...
Yeah, I'm on here.
Doesn't show.
What are you talking about, dude?
Can we mute? I spoke with Deputy Krecklow, who informed me that the body-worn camera and cruiser footage from 9/30/2024 was not submitted, and any footage would only be preserved for a certain period of time and is no longer available. Thus, why my office was told there was no digital evidence when requested in January, April, and again in May. What about the one in October? Deputy Krecklow also informed me that he took pictures of your vehicle and plate on 9/30/2024. I was unaware of the photos until yesterday, May 8th, 2025, because they were never logged. The photos are attached to this email. I am sending an email to disclose what I have just learned about why I've been told there's no digital evidence because it was not logged back in September. So here's the photo. So as you can see, there's a sheriff across the street, the Krecklow's car right behind me. There's my car. What is this evidence or is this just a trophy photo, right? So he took a photo showing that my car won awards at this event that I was in town for, and then the last photo is my plate. To me, this is not evidence. To me, this is trophies for his own pocket. And also, why did he save those 3 photos but not the evidence from his body-worn camera and cruiser?
Let me ask you a question. Were you charged with a false fictitious plate?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Just no registration. No registration, no insurance, no proof of ownership, and obstruction.
Well, obstruction is a physical act. It's not just, that you're not.
No, it's not. You can have, you good sir, an obstruction of justice.
We've read the Nebraska statute.
This. No.
We read the Nebraska statute, and I did not obstruct. Anyway,
thank you
for that, though.
Obstructing the collection of fees.
Correct. I did obstruct that.
Well, the thing is you are allowed to obstruct, collection of any thing, any person, paper, thing, or in your house, from them if they don't have a warrant. So that's not really, that's allowed,
Yep, and my car is an extension of my house. So anyway, what that email says to me is we just scared the prosecutor into doing her job. She started doing her job because we started doing it for her. And she was like, oh crap, I gotta go check on some things. Matthew, what else do you have on that?
Yeah, but now it's too late. And I'm trying to look up our FOIA request if we mentioned in there to preserve the evidence, because if we did, then this has got to be over.
I don't know why so maybe the first one we didn't because it was early on and we didn't know what we were doing, the one in October 4th. But the one January 17th, it was a 3 or 4 page FOIA request where we laid out like I need all of this and here's why. Like Cam and I, that was one of the first documents that Cam and I worked on together and it was pretty good. So that would be FOIA request number 2 is what it should be titled, Matthew. So anyway, yeah, they're trying to play catch up now, is what it seems like. We scared the prosecutor into doing her job. So Cam, what's your feelings on where we're at now?
Man, we got compelled in, bro. What you talking about? This guy's to get dismissed straight up off the bat, bro. There's several different ways we could take it. You got several violations on the front end, on their end, already with the constitutional aspects. If they're trying to push it to trial, there needs to be, if you're going to go through an evidentiary, boy, that evidentiary is going to be fun as fuck if you really go through it. That's going to get into more of the material facts. You can hit for documentation to get it dropped right now based on the prosecutorial mishaps, missteps, mistakes, clear violations of, and what is it they say when they're, I forget right now. When they're lying, but you can't. What?
Excusable neglect.
Okay,
Excusable neglect.
that's
Wow.
one. That's not the one I'm looking for though. There's another one.
Plausible deniability.
No, it's
Perjury.
You could do perjury. Yeah, perjury straight up. Yeah, I would use perjury. They're perjuring themselves all over on the record. And outside of the record amongst many witnesses as well. There's just so many aspects that we can hit on, bro. And you can hit in that aspect first, come in there. But if not, I say prepare for the evidentiary because that shit's gonna be popping, bro. Oh my God, you can have them looking stupid just like Hayden did. But you got cops to make.
I don't want to go to court, but I know that when I put that officer on the stand, he's gonna look like a full ass idiot.
You got audio. If they're saying you don't got no audio, you got audio.
Yeah, I got audio and I got a transcript of the audio.
You dig what I'm talking about? So it's like, what's up? Now we up. Y'all ain't got nothing to use against me. You got hearsay. We already know everything they put on that damn incident report hearsay. So what's up? Now y'all got hearsay and I got real evidence.
Right.
You got shit.
Hey, I got something to say about that.
What's up? That's how I be. I be bulldogging them. Straight bow-legged stance on them. What's up? That's how I be right now. So I'd be happy because I get to go in and just be like, ooh, I'm about to show these niggas what's up. I'm gonna go in here and get some experience. I'm gonna learn how y'all do this shit here, and I'm gonna tear your ass up in the process. What's up? How you wanna do it? Because I'm finna rip them up. And that's how I do.
Get these 3 links.
Now, I wouldn't even.
What about
what's up?
What about the 10-hour way now of an indictment and grand jury?
You can hit them like that too. That's why I say there's so many different ways, bro. If you really want to just like say I'm done with this, you can hit them in several different ways. If you kind of want to gain some experience, have some fun, and tear their ass up and get a little bit more bullshit that you could possibly use in a civil suit, as far as ammo is concerned, I'm going with it. What's up? Because they ain't got shit like they can't do. Whatever they did to homeboy, they did that was pretty heavy, and they got to pay for that. So.
Well, I have something to say about the body cam.
Go ahead.
Didn't say it, nigga.
When you put what one thing I would recommend is don't do motions. They're either notices or demands, and usually when you're trying to get your filing fee waived, you can just put a directions to the clerk. However, if you do get the body cam, which the body cam is usually going to have shady stuff on it, it usually does. I will say that I was able to obtain mine, and when they took me to trial, and I kept the CDs in the bag. I didn't even open them because I wanted it to be a surprise because I wanted a mistrial because the rules that they came out with was we're charging you with Florida statutes, but you can't use Florida statutes to argue your case like the no license insurance registration apply to non-residents. So when they played it in front of the jury, 6 jurors, mind you, over no seatbelt, no driver's license, and resisting arrest. The officer stated to her supervisor on body cam, the state did not edit it out of the body cam, said that I pulled my taser out on him because I told him to stop and he kept going, which was absolutely a false statement. And the jury's looking at the body cam And that's when they paused the video. We took a 20-minute recess. And when I came back in, the cop was still on the stand, still proceeded to answer questions. The testimony was still sought as true and accurate. And when the officer left, the jury came back with a guilty verdict, lied dead on body cam and lied on the stand. Mr. Bradley refused a lawful order. I told him to stop and he kept going. What happened was the officer got out of her car, whipped out her taser, said, "Get back in your car," at which point my fine public defender that was forced upon me, that was handling my argument, said, "Well, if you're looking at him and he doesn't have anything on him and you don't know what's in the car, why would you want him to get back in the car? To get a gun that might be in there anyway?" So if the cops lie on the stand, it's still going to proceed. The judge ain't going to do nothing about it. But it's a notice. You send a
Hey, I
notice.
wanted to.
This is why, and this is why I say, I'm. Someone's got me on echo. So this is why I think it's very important for everybody to kind of look at the aspect of you have to kind of enforce what you're trying to get done. If you just request it and they say, "Oh, we're gonna deny it," and you just let that go, they know you ain't shit. I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
That's
I'm
the
telling
truth.
you right now, bro.
When I was in court fighting jurisdiction, she told me twice, "I have jurisdiction," and I said once, I said, "Then prove it on the record." And the next time she says, I told you I have jurisdiction." I said, "Then what are your facts in law that give you jurisdiction?" And she finally just dismissed the case.
Where's the nature and cause? Let's really talk about it. Like, stop just allowing them to say one thing. You hungry? Stop allowing them to just come and say something, and then you just ride with it. Like, okay, you've ruled on it. We're done here, nigga. What? Did you not hear me? I'm filing a reconsideration. I'm filing a rehearing. I'm stating it again, like 3 times. Rules at least.
Object, 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 object. Hand him an AO-91 for a criminal
Hold on
referral
a
to the.
second. Hold on a second. You know, for most of these traffic tickets that you get, they're not. They're supposed to. The prosecution is required to initiate an administrative hearing with an administrative law judge to fully develop the record before they go to the court. So, and that's codified in the California law, and it's the same everywhere else. It's just that they skip that because they can't ring their crash register as often if they do administrative hearings, because when you do the administrative hearings, you know, the question is was I required by law to obtain and maintain a driver license? Was I required by law to obtain and maintain a registration? Was I required by law to obtain and maintain a driver license and all the rest of that? And the answers would be no. But anyway, I'll show you that, guys, later when I show something here coming up. But go ahead there, guys.
I would just like to say that there's a couple of cases in this document I put up here. This is Thomas Ford. It's called the 2025 laws you didn't know existed. It's up here at 9:50 a.m. That was published from Enon, and then there's 2 cases in there that talked about there has to be a nexus through a license in order for the court to have jurisdiction.
A
Otherwise, they're just
contract.
administrative.
Yep.
They're administrative proceedings. And if we go back to the Chevron deference, these people are acting outside the scope of their authority, the scope of their office. And so therefore it's a conspiracy against rights under Title 18,
Yeah.
242.
What about that
So
Chevron deference?
yeah, Chevron deference. Now in this, on Enon's site, on his PDFs, he has 40 gigabytes of information on there. So
Yeah.
this is a 2025 document. It's in Word. I would recommend that everybody download this, read this. He's got some really good stuff in there. But there's 2 specific ones that deal specifically with the nexus between the licensee and the obligation.
Who are you
When
talking
there's
about?
no nexus, when there's no nexus
Hey,
there,
who are you talking
the
about?
Well, the nexus is whether you're driving in commerce or not. That's the
Hey,
nexus.
hello, who is he
Yep.
talking about?
Yeah,
where'd
can
you
you post that document on Wisedome here?
And who are you
I
talking?
posted it.
It's on the chat, guys.
Okay, but who are you
I,
talking about?
you mean in regards to where I got this document from?
Yeah.
From Enon, EEON.
You mean Eon?
Yeah, Eon, yes, correct.
Okay. Well, Eon's a good friend. We've called him actually on the show. He still hasn't come on yet. So when Eon wants to come on, you should probably talk to him and let him know because I've already messaged him and asked him to come on, but he ain't come on yet. So we kind of waiting on him to holler back out at us and let us know when he's ready to come on. Cause everybody know about Eon. Eon ain't nothing new for a long time.
Well, I understand that it's nothing new, sir. All I'm saying is I posted this update of laws that you didn't know existed. It's in a Word document, 380 kilobytes. So
Yeah,
in that section, it
we've
talks.
we've
Yep.
we've got one.
Yeah, yeah, we got that.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
All
that.
right. Very
So
good. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody's been looking
Thank
at
you.
that because we go over
Hey,
all the
Quentin.
we go over all of the administrative law judges in relation to how they're nothing more than clerks, right? And that's kind of a big deal that we pull from there in that aspect. I mean, people go through there and highlight lots of different things and make comments on what they feel is most pertinent to them. That's what's great about that document. Is people just comment on the
They
side.
they're they have less than administrative. They're ministerial. They
Yeah,
don't
I
even have
know.
administrative authority. They're
I mean, they
ministerial.
do. They
Yeah.
do, but only of the involved agency. Ah, you
Yeah.
see? Only
Yeah.
of the
Exactly.
involved agency, which is
That's
very important and key. I know it, girl. Chill out. Okay, so check it out. Who else we got in this thing? We've
What's the
got
name of
Hey,
that
Robert.
document? Where can I find it?
that's in the let me see. I'll give you the link right now.
Robert, what were you saying?
Hold on, I'll get there in just a second. So let me see. So we got Q, Ty, Kevin. Kevin, you wanted to come on and say a couple things today, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Would you want
Uh,
to
Cam,
one
real quick.
hold on one second. So what is it that you specifically wanted to talk about per se? And do you have an eligibility to come up on camera or what?
I can do screen sharing. Is what I wanted to do because it's screen sharing as well as hearing it. It's taken in orally and visually rather than just speaking because a lot of people are visual learners and some people are orally oriented for learning, so I'd prefer to do both. I don't have a camera on this computer here, it's a desktop.
Okay. And then Robert and Ty, y'all go ahead real quick before Kevin gonna start up his little thing. I guess he wanted to share some stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say in regards to the clerk of the court, um, the the way around them, because they lawfully cannot give legal advice, or legally they can't give you legal advice. So the way you present your questions to them is, what is your process
You
for
warbled out there,
X,
say it
Y, and Z,
again,
whatever
please.
your question. You start asking like legal advice, yeah, they back. What's that?
Say that one more time. You broke up at the start. The way around them, you said?
The way around the court
You broke
clerk.
up at the start of what you were saying, say it again.
I just turned off my Wi-Fi.
Go ahead, Robert.
Better?
Maybe.
Probably ought to get closer to your phone there.
I was saying the way around the court clerk not helping you because they can't give you legal advice. The way you ask them is what their process is for X, Y, and Z, whatever it is you're looking for. And they'll usually help you that way. But if you start asking legal advice, they back away because they can't do that.
Right.
You want to try to.
Advice is essentially, well, should I do this or should I do that? You know, like
Right.
so.
I've never even asked them any of that. There's this specific court, they're so trained that if it's not like the even basic questions, I mean, Matthew, Kate, and Sydney have heard me call them many times, and they're just trained to say we can't give legal advice. Like it doesn't matter what the topic is, that's just what they say. So I that is correct. Yeah. Like if I'm asking, hey, should I file this or file that? Of course they're not going to answer that. But They won't even answer basic questions. Procedural questions, even. Yeah. They're like, you should talk to an attorney. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, they have to answer procedural questions because it's their process. That's what they're the clerk for.
Oh my God. So we asked for the oath of office for the prosecutor and the judge, and they said, oh, I've never heard of that before.
Because they don't
So-
take it anymore.
Maybe not. Now I wanna ask the attorney general.
Yeah, ask the Attorney General and the Secretary of State. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, here in California, look to the political code of California, and it says that they're required to file their oath of office and bond up within 30 days. Otherwise, they're non-existent in office. So there you go.
Why do they need oaths? Why, if they're administrative courts, why would they have these oaths? If honestly, are they required to? They are Article 1 and Article 4 courts. They're administrative. They're not constitutional lawful courts. Why
under
would
the
they have an oath
organic-
to the Constitution?
The organic constitution, at the end of the day, and they're foreign registered agents. That foreign registry requires their oath in order that they can be foreign.
Well, here it is. Under the first statute of Congress, it requires every federal employee, whether elected or appointed, to have an oath of office, and every elected and appointed official within each of the states to take an oath of office. And under the same statute, earlier on, it makes it a high misdemeanor to violate one's oath of office, which means it's treason. So, that's what our Congress stated way back when we started the country in 1789. So, continue on, guys.
The other thing I also have learned through this regarding the oaths is that I forgot the guy's name, but essentially the oath that they take isn't the Article 6 oath. So by getting their oath, you're also showing their oath is not the same, and therefore that in itself is actually a proof that they don't have a proper oath if they are, but these are quasi-government agents too, right? And it goes back to the FARA. They don't have a delegation of authority. There is no social compact agreement. They're operating a fraud.
Yeah, see, those are all valid true points. I'm with y'all 100%. I just think you're getting in too much into their game though. If you start getting that deep with it, you just get into it's like now you're getting into an argument on whether they're right or not. I don't even think you got to necessarily apply it so much. You just need to stay on the forefront of those stronger elements that are linked directly to the creator endowed rights. If you stay on that forefront of, they sat here and did all these damn violations of my creator endowed rights just to bring forth some kind of charge that really isn't even applicable to me in the first place. Oh my gosh, that's it. Instead of arguing the application, argue the creator endowed rights violations, because that's way more powerful anyway. You always gonna win with that.
Go ahead.
What about a letter of do not consent?
Is this me skipping, or is everybody just kind of frozen right now in quiet silence? What's going on?
Everybody was quiet.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know. All right, so everybody was silent, didn't want to respond to that one, huh? But yes, there is fraud in the courts if you're allowing it to, again, be placed upon you, but it's not fraud when you rebut that shit. And if they continue, it's still not fraud in a sense, it's just they're violating your shit. And so you go against them if you have to. You have to bring forth something. I mean, you got to stay strong in it all the way. Come here, baby girl. Okay, so you got to do something about it. And if you're really gonna win and you stand strong on everything that you're doing, you got, man, these bees in the house. Y'all gotta excuse me. I got B to get out this house.
I recognize that Kevin guy. Sounds like he did something on YouTube. Am I right?
Hey, what
Kevin?
about a letter of do not consent?
Just a What are you talking about?
Did anybody hear that?
Yeah, I heard it, Mitch. You're still gonna have to
Yeah.
stand on it because they're gonna say, well, we don't need your
Yeah.
consent.
Well, then we have to bring up the law about do not, we are the sovereign, and they're trying to put us in a court of none of our wishes. So everybody that's in court now, that's in jail now, that haven't given their consent, they're in there in prison without their consent.
And I agree with you, Mitch, and it comes back to jurisdiction. And if we can't stand up there and stand on jurisdiction, and it's not easy to do because they're gonna claim, I
They
have
have
jurisdiction.
multiple ways of justifying in their eyes that they
But
have
if you're
gained
prepared
jurisdiction over.
and you're ready to stand on it and you object to everything they say when they say we have this and we have that and you just keep
Affidavit of
objecting.
that, affidavit of standing, all that.
I'll have all that in there and then but
Declaration.
you have to pass the oral examination. You can have all the best
Mhm.
paperwork in the world, but you have to pass the oral examination. You got to stand there and stand on what you know and object to everything they say.
You're gonna stand on who you are, not what you know.
That's true. And why you're there, why you're doing what you're doing. That's what you have to know within you.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get a hold of Kevin C. That last, what was it, Saturday? Last Saturday he was there. He brought up that the corporation cannot sue a living man, and they can only sue like.
That's true.
That's
Fictitious.
Irrelevant though. You're not gonna try to argue that against them. You're gonna argue why they can't violate you. That's all you want to argue. Like Cameron says, you know who you are. You stand on your rights that you have. Don't worry about what they got.
Don't argue their shit.
Yeah.
I just don't go to court. I just don't go
The
to
judge
court.
kept wanting to get me off of jurisdiction and she wanted to talk about the motions. And I said, I can't even talk about the motions until you establish jurisdiction.
Yep.
And she said, well, I have jurisdiction. I said, on what grounds? You just got to
You
stand
have
on,
to run the show. You have to they're going to try to trick you to go down their path and stuff. And you have to stand on it and say, no, we're not finished with this. Like you're not even, there's no point in even going there because.
Otherwise they're going to take you into all those things that you don't want to talk about, Mitch. You don't want to talk about that stuff.
Well, see, guys,
who was
the general idea is that you run the show when it's whether you're prosecuting or you're defending, not let them run their own agendas there.
That's right. When
who
you have
made the comment? Who made the comment that said that when they were talking about jurisdiction, that the judge shut up and dismissed the case when he said lawfully prove you have jurisdiction?
That was me, Mitch.
Oh, that was you? That was a
Yeah.
great. I like that one.
Yeah, if you got your paperwork in there, all you have to do is go in there and stand. And Cam makes the best paperwork. If you go in there with Cam's paperwork and you know that paperwork, and you stand on it, they're going to say things that you're going to have to object to based on your paperwork. All you have to do is know your paperwork, and make your objections, and they can they can say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do blah blah blah. They're not going to do shit as long as you object to everything.
But you have to learn the 10 objections and use them properly when you need to.
Yep.
Guess I have to learn what those are.
Kevin, you're up.
Give me a minute
Oh.
here, guys.
I was going to say something about what Ty was sharing. I mean, it really boils down to they're going to continue. We know the script is for them to deflect, detract, deter, project, and deny and all the things. They're just going to use their mockery. They're so predictable. If you go in and you start watching all of them, you start to see their pattern is pretty much consistent. And then when you show up and you disrupt their pattern, it's a whole nother ball game. I mean, it's phenomenal. I applaud you, Ty, for pointing that out, and I appreciate you saying it because again, you know, having the paperwork on the record is huge because you've set the evidence into motion, unrebutted, unanswered. We know that they don't play by the rules, and it supports your claims moving forward. Like, I'm getting ready to write up the default notice explicitly, and if I have to go into court, I don't know, but that's exactly what I will do, is exactly what Ty said, is stand on the square of, I am still waiting for the unanswered rebuttals to what I have established on the record. You know, it's in the file. Don't even
That's
look
right,
at me.
Lon. That's right. Well, as soon as you let them say something that we're going to do this, or I deny that, and you let that go, you just gave them jurisdiction. You just threw your paperwork away and allowed them to do what you told them they can't do in your paperwork. You got to pass the oral exam.
Yeah, I got a question about that. Well, we always keep running back into this. Oh, you gave them jurisdiction. What about going in there under threat and stress and special appearance right out the gate? If they just continue to move forward after that point, the only reason a person would cooperate with the hearing anyway is out of threat of going to jail, to reserve your rights right there in the beginning, because they're gonna run you through it. I mean, I don't even really think there's anything you could file or anything you can say that's going to stop a trial from happening, you being found guilty and having to appeal it.
I
Like
just
I
did it.
just did. And then, what's that?
I just did it. They wanted to push it forward to trial. They kept trying to push it into trial. I said, no, you're not going there. We're not going anywhere until you establish jurisdiction. Well, we have jurisdiction. I said, prove it. You just can't let them go. You can't stand there and not say something when they say this or they say that.
Well, I've been saying it. I've been saying it for about a year and a half now, and the only thing I want is the material facts of a license, which they fail to provide, and they just keep going forward. Every
You're
time.
asking them for permission. You can't ask them for permission for anything.
Let me
You got to go in
rephrase
there
that.
and command the court.
Yeah, let me rephrase that. I have about 7 letters to Ashley Moody. We have a new attorney general now here in Florida. It was a notice to provide me with the material facts of a license that states that I'm a U.S. citizen.
Sorry.
I've even told them, I tell them I'm not the trustee, I'm not the fiduciary, I'm not that person. Every time I object to it, denied or sustained or something like that.
Well,
You
down
can't
in
rely.
Florida, well, see,
You
you're down in.
can't.
Hold on
You
a
can't
second,
rely
Ty.
on your paperwork to do it for you. What I'm saying is, you're going to have, some people don't go to court, but I'm saying if you're going to beat your case the way that we're working at it here, you're going to have to pass the oral exam. You're going to have to go stand in front of the fire, and you're going to have to stand your ground. And in order to do that, you've got to know what you're going to say when they say this or when they say that, or and you're not going to let one thing go past. You're not going to let them say, we have this, or you can't do that, or this or that. You can't let them say anything, because once you do, you just threw your paperwork out the door, and they're going to move forward. If they're moving forward, it's because you're not standing your ground.
Fuck yes. Tell them, Ty.
No, let me say something too. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
she's
all
down in Florida? Is what I take it. She said she's down there. Florida is different. How you got to approach it down there. Because essentially what Florida did a few years ago is they adopted Title 49 USC, but they bastardized a lot of when they imported that law down there, they bastardized a lot of the words and phrases so that they don't mean exactly what they do in Title 49, and Florida did not come up with their own phrases to lock you into that. So you got to be aware of that. And I did a case with Boris down in Florida with Jim Enright, and got a whole bunch of case files on that. But the approach is totally different down there, and you don't go and argue your stuff like that. First of all, you got to do a motion to dismiss and some other things. But that's what you usually do in every case. But anyway, so I guess let me show you guys some stuff here. Not to, since we're on the driving thing, let me share my screen here. Hang on. Let's see here. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to shift around a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see here. Here's a motion to dismiss that we filed down in Florida for this guy, Jim. And see, it doesn't matter. You can have the greatest paperwork, but if you're a bad actor, you're never going to make it. Okay? So anyway, it's just, so here's what we did.
Hey, Kevin, somebody else sharing a screen with you. Can't see nothing.
Somebody else on there. Cameron, you want to
Mute.
cancel the
When
screen
other
sharing?
people, when someone's not muted, it kind of like hijacks the screen too.
Somebody's playing music. Why don't you cut that out so it doesn't pop through, guys, or mute yourself? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we did last year. And y'all think that the courts are corrupt in your state, and they're the most corrupt ones. I would say that Florida takes the cake on there. And here it is. Okay, so let's start out at the top. So we got James Matthew Enright, and we got this footnote right here, right? One, right? You all see that?
Yep.
Why did I put a footnote there? Can anybody say besides Tom?
God dang it, I always get chopped up.
Yeah, dang it.
Because you're saying you're not the defendant.
No, we're not saying that at all. So here it is, footnote. James Matthew Enright is one of the people pursuing Article 1, Sections 1 and 2 and 27 of the Florida Constitution. So we're essentially establishing our rank in society. And then we're establishing the rank in society of our public ministers. Our public ministers' ranks are lesser because they are found in Articles 3, 4, and 5 of the Florida Constitution, 1838. And each of the articles are lesser importance than the first one. So a lot of you probably don't realize that you really have to put down your status and rank in society because, for example, let me take you over somewhere else real quick. Let's see, I don't want that there. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I gotta pull it up real quick here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Oh man, okay, so let's see. So so Article 1, Section 1, I'm gonna shift it over here. I'm gonna use the California Constitution. This is the original one. Can you all see that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
See a black screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me
Hit the share
readjust
screen
it.
button again.
I'm gonna resume. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, can you see it now?
No,
Negative.
not yet.
You need to cancel your share screen.
No,
and
if
re-
he pulls up the page that he wants to share and just and hits the share screen again button at the top of his screen, it would work
Yeah,
too.
I'm gonna do that right now. Hold on. Here we go, right here. Okay, so here. Okay, can you see it now, guys?
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get a lesson in the Constitution here, because this is very important for wherever you are, whatever state you are, and you always look to the Constitution. So, if all men are by nature free and independent, where is the, does anybody have the answer to the next question I'm going to say? Okay, the question is where's the exception to state laws, rules, and regulations here under Article 1, Section 1? Anybody say something?
Doesn't exist.
Anybody else?
There is none.
Yeah, D.
Right. So this is how you prove that none of these laws apply to you, because otherwise it would have said all men are by nature free and independent except to the vehicle code, the penal code, the rules of court, et cetera, whatever bullshit that they're trying to bring, right? So
Wouldn't that also be the same thing as saying that there would have to be a social compact agreement as well?
No social compact. No, nope. They just go straight with what the Constitution says, because the Constitution is your strongest bulwark against encroachment against the government. Okay, so now let's go here. Section 2. All political powers inherent in the people. Governments instituted for the protection, security, and benefit of the people, and they have the right to alter the form or reform the same whenever the public good may require it. So where's the exception that public servants have the power to order their masters about? Anybody got any idea? Where's the exception here?
Well, according to Section 2, they don't have it because it specifically states right there they're doing it for the people, the benefit of the people.
Right, exactly. So this is how we use the Constitution, and what we do is, whenever we're in any case, and every state's constitution has something like sections 1 and 2 in it, like I'm showing you here. Okay, and what you do is you revolve every question that they may, or any challenge that they may bring, whether it's from county code enforcement, it's EPA, the fire marshal, FEMA or anything else, you bring these questions to bear. Well, if all men are by nature and free and independent, where does it say that I got to follow FEMA? Or where does it say that I got to follow EPA? Where does it say that I got to follow this or that, right? Or the federal? Okay, so are you starting to see where we're going with this? So we always mention our rank and status, and then there's rank and status, okay?
I did that actually in court in Texas.
Well, yeah, you can do it in Texas too, because every state constitution is there to protect the people more than the federal constitution, because the federal
But they charge me with court contempt.
What's that?
They charge me with
Contempt
of court.
Contempt of the court. Yes.
Why? Because you're mentioning this?
Yeah.
Probably not in the same way I'm telling you about it.
And I asked them if this court of record. They said no. That's why.
Okay, well, see, the thing is you didn't establish yourself. Now let me take
So
you
what
to
they've
another.
done, no. That's not even true. I've had that happen to me too, where they don't. When they say it's not a court of record, they start tripping out, acting crazy. Then be like, we don't even support your constitutional theory here. I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about, bro?
Well, then, wait a minute, guys. So if
What are we
if
waiting for?
the Constitution has no existence in that court, then they must be a fake court, and you just turn around and walk out. I've done that several times in my early career with this, and but anyway, let me go and show you another part. Okay, let's go down to Article 6. This is Article 6. So in every state, you're your departments under government are going to be listed under a different article. And under here, it's the Judicial Department, Article 6. So if we go down, and I've used this argument several times, and I've won a lot of cases just on it, and I've argued Section 13 right here. Tribunals for conciliation may be established with such powers and duties as prescribed by law, right? But such tribunals shall have no power to render judgment to be obligatory on the parties except when they voluntarily submit their matters in difference and agree to abide by the judgment or assent thereto in the presence of the tribunal. So when a judge says, well, okay, so let's go for example here. I'm going to say, Ty.
Yep.
Let me use you as a guinea pig, and I'm going to act like the judge, okay?
Yep.
Well, Ty, I'm going to sentence you to 5 years in prison. You're going to have to pay a $5,000 fine. You're going to be on probation for 10 years, okay?
No, that's not okay. I've got plenty to say about that.
Well, see, most people would say, oh, well, okay, when they should be saying exactly what you said. Hell no, I don't agree. I don't voluntarily submit my matters in difference, and I don't agree to abide by the judgment, and I don't assent, which is essentially letting them say something in court and you saying nothing, right? And so that's essentially, and every state is similar to this. Is this, you have to find it in your separate state constitution, wherever you are. But the thing is like for California, most everybody thinks that we amended it in 1879, but that's not the case, because I've checked the, and how do you check whether your state's constitution, your current one, is valid or not? Well, you call the secretary, the archivist of the state, and you submit questions. Well, how many people in both houses in the state voted for this? And they'll send you over the count of the vote. Okay, so for California, we asked what was the vote for both houses, and it comes back as question marks. Okay, so if the House and the Senate came back with question marks, that means there was no vote on it. So how could they present it to the people for approval at a general election after that? They can't. Okay, so you might want to check that out, because a lot of the constitutions were changed after the Civil War, and they try to bastardize those things and make it more easily for them to relax what your rights were. But California is very specific. Let me go to another section. I'm going to go back to Article 4.
That's a really good point, what you just made there. And, if you guys just say what I just said, if you don't know what to say, but you just want to say, well, I don't agree with that, and I've got plenty to say about that, they're going to probably stop you right there. Even if you don't know what you're going to say next, they don't want to hear what you have to say, but you just objected to what they have to say, whatever it is.
Well, whatever order, it's just like this. A judge says, well, Michaels, I'm going to order that you do this by a certain date and this and that and the other. And I told the judge, hell no, I'm not going to give you any shit. And I tell him just like that. He said, well, you're borderline contempt. I said, I have a free right to free speech on any subject, and I'm speaking legally. You're full of shit, and I'm not going to do it.
I did that. I was booked in jail.
Well, here it is because you didn't come along with the First Amendment right to speak on any subject. Now, here it is, too, is that the judge got all upset, and he says, well, I'm going to hold you in contempt. I said, what for? For speaking my mind? Besides, Article 6, Section 13 says that I'm not required to, accept anything. Well, how are we supposed to run, anything in the state? I said, well, that's your goddamn problem, how you run the state. But I'm objecting to that, and I'm not objecting. I do not consent. You don't say you just object. You have to get down and say that I do not consent, because if we go back to Article 1, it's among the consent of the people, right, how they're governed. So they have a real problem with that. And so you always got to. So anyway, the judge says, "Well, I'm going to tell you this," and I said, "Well, I'm not going to do anything, until you sign an order. You haven't signed any orders for me to do anything. It's like me relaxing my Article 6, Section 13, right? Right? Because it's like sometimes I like to play them and just bring up a bunch of stuff.
When you play with them, have you ever had an incident where you've had to like use a gun or anything like that?
Well, they play with me like what would they do is they take me into the back room and hold me for a
No,
couple
no, no,
hours.
no. I mean, like, have you ever had anything where you've had to do anything with a gun and a cop?
Yeah, I've actually played with cops. I made my career up until the time I was 33 to beat the fuck out of every cop that ever crossed my path.
Yeah, we don't promote that here, bro.
Well, I did that up until I was 33 or 34, just doing knee-jerk reaction, right? And I was very good at fighting people, but I decided I was gonna learn
So what,
the
you end up
law.
doing some time for that or what?
No, I never ended up doing any time for beating up cops because I always got away. And but anyway, so I decided I was gonna learn the law. I was gonna learn procedure. I'm gonna learn how to play court, and since then I've got about a 93% rate doing what I do the way I do it. Let me go on screen share another thing here for you guys.
I'm actually going to get into doing and speaking about my arrest and everything as far as what just happened the other day.
And my batch actually in
Kevin,
my
if they do need, hold on real quick. Kevin, if they do want to get in touch with you though, even though, we've had people actually get your services before, but that's for another story. But how can they get in touch with you?
Well, I can post it on the chat here.
Yeah,
See
put it in
here.
the chat, please.
Yeah, put it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, what I also want to get into real quick is
well, I wanted to share with you guys something about how to
now
deal.
we just gonna actually move on, bro.
Okay.
Yep. So if you can mute up, I'd appreciate it. So what I'm about to do right now is go over the Marion County, and I'm doing this just because I've come into some new information and we're just moving on. Okay. So I just got my ass arrested the other damn day. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all.
Congratulations, Cam. Way to go.
Let's get it, baby. Another one. Like, what y'all talking about, nigga? Let's go, bro. This shit is crazy. So I was actually headed down to California. I was headed down to California, and I was just gonna get away. I just need to get away for a couple days, man. Do some work and then just get away. And on the way down, I think I was just headed to the 7-Eleven, the closest, little convenience store. And there's a 2-lane road. It's probably about 12:15 at night. And this road is 25 miles an hour. And as I'm coming across this curve, it's 2 lanes. The little side skirt's literally, bro, only 2 feet. And there's a curb. So it's not, if you need to get over, it's kind of hard because there's a curb there. And as I'm coming around the curve, nobody's on the roads at all. And there's a cop. You would just put her down and go play for, I don't want to hold her right now. And this cop, though, is sitting in the road, bro. Lights off. I'm talking the lights are dead ass off, bro. Like, no emergency lights on, no headlights or tail lights on. Like, nothing is on whatsoever. And I was like, man, this is the craziest situation. So I slow down. I go around her. As I'm starting to go around her, she throws on her little yellow caution lights on her bar on the top. What you doing? You can't just put Chloe outside. Where's Chloe? You can't lock Chloe outdoors. Oh, where's Sissy? Luna! Where you at? Okay, well, go take Chloe to Sissy. All right. Okay. So, what you call it? So anyways, I go around her and I probably get about 3 football fields, maybe like quarter mile ahead of her before I start seeing her move, bro. And because the road's kind of like up and down. It's a little wavy, right? So I'm seeing her come. So when she come, I just pick up my speed a little bit. I'm going to see if she's actually still catching up to me. I wanted to see if, like, are you gunning it? How fast? I'm trying to gauge. And as I speed up a little bit, oh, yeah, she's coming. She's gunning it. So I'm like, oh, man, I'm about to get harassed, bro. This is crazy. So I take a ride on the street, and I get down to the end of the street and park and turn off my car and jump out. You know, the Eddie Craig way, get up out that thing real quick. Ain't nobody pulling me over. I don't see no cops behind me. Ain't nobody pulling me over. And I get out the car and I lock it. And I start walking, and here she come. Ooh, pulling up, right? Get back in the car. I'm just thinking in my head, woman, you're a little bit late to be telling me what to do. You know, like that's all. Like you're a little late. You know, and she's like, no, you need to get back in your car. I was like, what you talking about? This is a legal stop. She's talking about, no, it's not. You don't have insurance. Why are you bringing Chloe back up again? Just take Chloe down to Sissy. I don't want to hold Chloe. I'm not holding Chloe right now. What are you talking about, Luna no here? She's in her room. Take Chloe to Sissy in her room. Yeah, she's not downstairs. Okay, yeah, she told me to get in my car. Now I look back in my car and I notice my windows are still down. So I go and put the key in, and she keeps getting closer and closer to me. I put the key in and hold it to where it rolls up my windows and locks the car. Now she's right beside me as I'm doing this, you know, just patiently sitting there just doing it. And she says, get back in your car. I said, I'm not getting back in my car. I don't know what you don't understand about that. Like, I don't know what you don't get about that. You need to leave me alone. And I go to walk off, right? As I go to walk off, she grabbed me. She don't even say, hey, you're under arrest. She says, stop, grabs me, right? And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? She still got my arm though, right? I'm letting her just hold my arm. Now I could have just folded her up real quick, but I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna do that. I could have done the quick swang a little lang and folded her up, but I don't want to be violent. We don't promote violence here. We don't like none of that. So I just let her hem my ass up. And I ain't never been arrested by a girl cop before, so that shit was kind of kinky. Anyways, so once she did the arrest, you know, she hemming me up. She got my arm all hemmed up, right? And I'm like, listen, what you're doing is illegal. I end up pulling up my arm like this. She kind of was being forceful, but it wasn't too hard. And I said, what you're doing is illegal. You really need to stop. And she already got the backup coming. So when the backup come, it's another lady cop, y'all. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm in my mind, I'm thinking this is about to go down like a Lil Wayne song, you know, like wee, 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 in the cop car, you know, when the ladies come.
I sang that last night at karaoke, dude. No joke.
Bro, like what? Come wheel weep me. So, but they were wheel weep me to take my rights away. I didn't, you know, I thought it was like, man, this is a fantasy coming true, but it was not. Other than we've got a huge lawsuit. But they threw my ass in the back of the cop car, right? They throw my ass back there. Ooh, close the door. They had taken my keys from me. I still have my phone in my pocket. I ain't get to record none of this, y'all. It happened so quick, I couldn't do it. It was just like, yo, this is crazy. This chick is really about to arrest me. And
Where's your glasses when you need them?
bro, it was nighttime, and I need to get new lenses for them anyway, so I can wear them at night. So, so then they get the keys. Yeehaw, girl. So then they take the keys, and she come to me, and she say, hey, what's your name? Tell me your name. I said, oh, I ain't say nothing. So she giggles, she says, she's not saying his name. And then they go out and they're talking again. And she comes back, open up the door. I said, where's Sergeant at? She said, oh, there's one right here. You can talk to him. I said, all right. He opened up the door and he says, I heard you want to talk to Sergeant. I said, oh, read me my rights. He say, what? I can't. I'm not the arresting officer. I said, well, somebody hurry up and read me my rights right now. And he said, okay. And then she got out from the front seat, came back around, started reading me my rights. And then she said, all right, so what's your name? I said, I'm gonna reserve all rights, including my right to remain silent. Boy, she got so pissed, bro. Like she was so mad. Like she just got so heated, bro. Like it was done for her right there. She knew it. And she slammed the door and she's like, he ain't answering. He ain't telling his name. They said something about the keys. She threw the keys. They were on top of the car. She threw the keys over to the other one. They unlocked the car and then take off the piece of paper that's hiding the VIN, right? And I'm just like, oh my God, y'all really did it. Y'all really opened up my door and moved my shit around to figure out what you wanted to figure out because you couldn't find it any other way. Uh-oh. Those are big boy violations. You had no warrant. You fucked up. Big red flags. Everything suppressed. They ain't even had my name yet. You dig what I'm saying? So even if they did or were able to, which they did by pulling out my wallet, taking it, and bringing it with me, you dig what I'm saying? Literally went in my car and did that, bro. When I had everything locked up. So they did that. And then, yes, ma'am? Oh, okay. You gotta go potty? Y'all gotta give me a second.
So what was he being charged for again? I missed that.
He
I don't
hasn't
think
said
he
that
said
part
yet.
yet.
They
No.
said
Okay,
he
so
didn't. They said he didn't have insurance. I don't know
Yep.
how they knew he didn't have insurance.
But I
License
assume
plate
like
reader.
his plates or
By
something.
what?
Yeah, like
my question is, why was this officer in the middle of the road without any emergency or any sort of lights on?
They're tyrants. That's why.
How would you know he didn't have insurance? That's the question.
And yeah, yeah, and that's another issue too. Like, how does she know that he didn't have any? I mean, those like the license plate readers are like they're not great, but whatever. But they're not that great to be picking something up like that quick. So
He's rolling
I had
Well,
them
that's
and
why it
he's
took her.
rolling them.
It's why it took her 2 football fields before she followed him.
right.
I had
Because
a
he was
cop.
easily 2 football fields away from her when she started to follow him.
He's
I want to
rolling
ask
on dead
Cam
plates.
exactly where she was at. If he can pull up like a map or something, that way I can have a pretty good visual of where
Oh,
she
well,
was.
it's gonna be clear that she violated her own policy to speed on public roads without a crime therefore being committed.
Was this in Marion County where?
That's very easy. In Salem, is off of Hawthorne. I was at the Best Western Plus over there off Hawthorne. I think it's
In
Hawthorne.
Cali or
Nah, Salem, Oregon.
Selma?
All right. So what we
Okay.
got? So what we got going on, right? So then, she just arrests me. They tell me, give your name up and everything. I don't know. She's taking me to jail, right? Failure to carry and present, right? That's what she's taking me for. And when she takes me to jail, we sit outside for a good 25 minutes. We going back and forth. The audio and video on this is gonna be crazy. I'm talking about crazy. So crazy you can say brazy too. Like it's gonna be both at the same time, man. Like it's wild. Like I went outside of my character. I'm gonna say be up front. So some of y'all may be upset with Cameron and his words. But yeah, I went off on this one. She got it all. I just wasn't having a good day. And you literally made it worse by doing what you did to me. And so it all came out. So yeah, we had our words, and then I get into the jail, and it was just failure to carry and present, right? And what you call it? She's acting like it was a valid traffic stop. It wasn't even a valid traffic stop, anyways. So they dressed me out. They actually acted pretty wild to me in the jail. They did me pretty dirty,
Was
and
it
then
county jail or city?
uh, no, I think I was at the Marion. No, I think I was I was at the sheriff's office. It's a detention center, little jail. They did me pretty dirty though. The night shift, the day shift was really good. It was nice. So I sleep. When I wake up, I was thinking I was just about to get. They told me I was gonna do a turnaround, put me in there and let me go for failure to ID. But she had put on another charge, which was resisting arrest. So she gave me a resisting arrest, which turned it up to where they said I had to get a bond now. All of a sudden, so I had to wait for the magistrate. So in the morning time, they finally acted right and gave me my shoes and gave me a blanket and all that shit. Like they had treated me like shit. Nice shift. And then I was supposed to wait till 2:30 for the magistrate in the afternoon. But then the homeboy was like, "Well, at 9 or 10, the DA gets here to look at the cases to see if they're gonna go over them and move forward with them or not." And then they came at 9 o'clock on mine and told me straight up, "There's like, hey, the DA dropped both of your cases." So we have a straight up lawsuit right off the bat without having to go to court and fight anything, essentially. So my initial ones were failure to carry and present a driver's license and resisting arrest, no warrant attached whatsoever. And yeah, they towed me illegally because again it was parked on an easement before even being pulled over. So I have to go through and do a request for a tow hearing to get my money back on that. I got the receipt that was paid for on that. And then yeah, I had to pick it up the same day. They tried to hem haul me and not release my property to me. And I told them, I was like, y'all about to release my property to me. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all can't just take my property and tell me I need to file something. I'm not a resident of this state, nor do I have any contracts with this state. Like, that's my private property. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. And
Mary, that's the same county that they wouldn't let me record in the courthouse.
oh, well, I'm gonna record and I'm gonna have fun if I have to go up in that thing. But I'm pretty sure once I speak to the DA, if there's anything left lingering, we'll let them know about what we're about to do, just like we did with Klickitat County's prosecuting's office. They were very well in what they did and how they handled
What's pending, Cam? Do you know? Okay,
what happened.
what charges are pending?
I think what they got is they moved it from those two, and then they gave one of interfering. Tow. I think it's interfering with peace officer.
Hey Cam, how did you get your car back? What documents did you use?
I didn't use anything. I went in there and told them to release the hold on my fucking car. And they said, well, you got to provide insurance and license and all that. I said, no, I don't. That's my private property. You gonna tell me I have to? I'm not a resident of this state. What are you talking about? You forcing me? I don't do business in this state. I ain't got no contract. And they're like, oh, well, you can't drive it off. I said, okay, well, I'll get it towed somewhere then. You just release the hold on the vehicle. And within 15, 20 minutes, that's what they did.
That's cool. I was just wondering if you needed to show some document like registration or license for them to
Well,
release
they
it.
asked for some
Yeah,
kind
you
of
need a license
that's
before
my
you
ID.
can.
But you don't need no license to get your private property out, bro. That's your shit. Can't nobody force you to say you have to have a driver's license to get your vehicle out. Yeah. All you gotta do is literally skirt by, little loophole, get that bitch towed off the lot. Motherfucker towed that bitch right to the next street and I'm off. Let's go. They just gotta go by the rules. What do you mean, bro? Let's get it.
Well, I mean, because I know that you don't have a registration for it.
No.
I don't think you have a license for it.
No.
So, I'm in the same predicament.
Let's see
So
what
it's
happened
like,
to your impound hearing, because remember what happened to Louis.
well, they took his private property without due process. That was against the
No,
law.
yeah, but they made him pay for fighting the attorney. The impound had to get the attorneys, and they made Louis pay with like another $600.
Still stealing.
So
Oh, sure.
what we end up is getting both of those dropped. Both of those cases are dropped now. So I essentially got to go through the next process with them as well. I'll probably push out at 1.2. They might settle around 3, maybe 250, maybe less. But we getting over 100 on that one. That's easy. And I mean that's super easy. She totally went outside and they immediately dropped it. Not even 9. They didn't even hold. She tried to have 2 things stick and none of them held. And she got interfering with a police officer. How am I interfering with anybody? You're interfering with my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. You dumb bitch. You're sitting in the middle of the road to where I have to slow down. You're causing a fucking safety hazard to people on the road. And now you're going to pull me over? Worried about your LPR rating? Man, if you don't get up out of here, it's just scandalous. I'm going to speed down this 25-mile-an-hour road doing 50 miles an hour to catch up to you because my system says you don't have insurance. Are you an idiot? Ain't no crime. Where's the PC? I swear, man. I went bad on this one. But again, this is another lawsuit. I ain't even wrote it out yet. So we'll write it out because what this just happened yesterday? Well, I got out yesterday.
I'll be right.
It's crazy.
Did you have to pay to tow it off the towing lot? Or?
Yeah. It was another extra fee of 128.
Holy smokes.
Man, it ain't that bad, bro. I don't pay insurance or nothing. I don't pay no registration fee. What y'all talking about?
Right. I hear you.
Shit barely happens. What, last time I got my car towed 2 years ago now? Come on now. Ain't nothing.
You traveled all the way from home to Texas, back home with
And
no
back.
issue.
No
and
issue.
And then you go just for a little ride and you get some problems from
That's all
somebody.
right. That's that. Hey, man, driving while somewhat black in Oregon and Washington does have its benefits if you know your rights. I'm just going to tell you like that. You come on out here and drive while being somewhat even black. And if you're blacker, I'm sure you'll get pulled over a little bit more often. And if you do, and you know your rights, you're going to get paid like Russ says. Russ, are you still in this thing or you gone, bro? Where you at, Russ? Oh, my boy's still in this thing. What's up? Y'all got to unmute. Talk to me now.
We're
Oh, yeah, we
trying,
hear.
Cameron. There we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up, G?
Hey, you can't hold out on us so long. We've been worried about you for 20 hours.
Your boy got locked up. Fortunately, it was only about 9.5 hours. About 9.5 hours.
Well,
Yeah, I
you
even
should have
hit
got to
you
stay
up.
in there like I did for about 28.
Yeah. Prosecutors were all like, oh my God, get this young man up out of here right now. Get this young man out of here. We're not doing it. Let him go after the coppers. Well, why don't you talk about your situation, Papa? This is the first time you in Operation Wisedome like this talking, ain't it?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Hell, man, I mailed off all that stuff to get the body cam and stuff. I mailed it off Friday. So I sent it to the Attorney General.
Well,
the
wait.
county.
You ain't never been on no Operation Wisedome before. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, talk about your situation for a second, then get into what you're doing right now.
All right, let me see if she can get this baby to quit crying.
I don't hear no baby.
You don't hear no baby?
Nope.
Noise
Noise suppression is amazing nowadays.
Hey, my name's Russell Hess, man. I was traveling through Bull Verde, Texas, April 27th. Got pulled over for a tag, had a private tag on. And I made a reservation of rights right off the bat. And 30 minutes later, they put the handcuffs on me and took me to the Hooskow.
After you said,
Yeah, after I said, hi, we getting paid.
now. I think it was the last minute.
Hey, mute up. Ross is talking.
Right. Keep going about your situation, Papa. Talk about your situation, explain it on out, and then, kind of go into a little bit of details for us,
Hey,
what we
can
do on our
everybody mute
paperwork and
out if
stuff.
you're not talking?
Do what?
Can everybody mute out if you're not talking?
You stay in. Explain like the process you getting pulled over, what you went and did. Said.
Well, they just pulled me over, because of the tag. And then as soon as they walked up there, I asked them if it was a custodial arrest. And they said, no, it was a detention. And I said, no, it's a custodial arrest. Will you please read me my rights? And I never got my rights read whatsoever until I saw the magistrate the next afternoon. He read me my rights, but that was it. To be honest with you, Cam watched the video. I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched the video. That was a young cop that stopped me. He had no clue what was going on. If you can watch in the video, he kept looking back. He was saying, like, he was thinking in his mind, like, come on, guys, come help me. They didn't know what to do, man. And they just, arrested me for refused ID and then refused ID, giving false and fictitious information, which was a lie. I never give them any kind of false or fictitious information. That was just a lie. But anyway, bonded out and got in touch with Cameron, and I'm pretty excited about meeting you guys, and I'm pretty excited about what Cam's doing. I think he's going to help a lot of people. I think all of you guys are going to help a lot of people.
I think you're going to help a lot of people, damn it. And that's
Man, I hope.
Shit, man, you already are with how you react. And I mean, people see the strength and power and the steps you've already taken. Just that one-liner, you created a whole new one-liner for people, bro. I got my remedy right here on the side of my door. Go ahead and read it, Papa. That's commerce. That's my remedy right there. If you want to test it, you be the one. You be the one. And boy, you took that ride for it, boy. So you a real one in my eyes. That's why I say you got the floor for a little bit, man. Go ahead and take it. You deserve that.
Well, people have forgotten that the government can only regulate commerce. So everything is commerce. And I believe that you have to tell them straight up front. I mean, that ought to be the first thing you tell them is I'm not operating in commerce. And, because that's the only thing the government can regulate is commerce, and everything is commerce. And you have to put them on notice that you're not operating in commerce. And of course, a lot of these, shit, I'd say 99% of these cops don't even know what you're talking about. But no, I'm excited, man. I'm gonna see how much I'm gonna get paid, and then I'm gonna go hook up my camper and go do it again.
I think it's easier said than done. You said officers don't do nothing. In my case, judge knew nothing. They didn't read me my rights. They booked me. He gave me 10 days in jail.
Really?
10 days in jail, speeding ticket. And what I did, I assert my rights. I was sui juris, propria persona, all 9 yards. He knew what I'm gonna do, so he called me last one. I was the last one he dealt with. And he was the only thing, he forgot his script because he never came across of anything this kind or sort. I don't know how long he's doing what he's doing. He's relatively young. I would say late 40s. And the only thing he could do, he turned red, bright red, and he was just spitting saliva and screaming from the top of his lungs. So he forgot. At the end of conversation, he was starting to ask me right questions. He got back on his script and, are you a US citizen? No. Do you have ID? No. So he forgot his script. And at the end of this deal, he started, but at that point I was handcuffed. And that bailiff, he was very old man. He didn't feel comfortable. He was constantly asking me, ma'am, do you want to sit down? Ma'am, do you want to sit down? I said, no, I will remain standing. And judge was leaving the room at least 3 times. But I forgot what, because I was so shocked by his behavior. I didn't expect judge to behave this way because he was ballistic on steroids. And so he gave me 10 days in jail. They booked me. And they treat me really badly. I was the only white girl in all that.
Where was you at?
Rockwall,
Texas?
Rockwall County, yeah, Dallas area.
Rockwall County's horrible.
Yeah, and they treat me horribly. And they
That
said,
city's
"Oh,
got
you're
that
here."
city's got really great history though. There's actually a rock wall that goes 40 feet into the ground. If y'all didn't know this,
Yes, I did
it's
know
an
that.
ancient
Yes,
rock wall.
true.
They
Very old
they found
money,
like
so it's very conservative.
yeah, they found like Roman like swords.
Yeah, but what happened next is really interesting. And they told me, oh, you are here for the long haul, blah, blah. And he didn't give me bail. I asked if I can bail myself. He said, no bail. So while I'm there, everybody who's in the same cell with me, they have judge. They supposed to see judge, like they started to see people around 11, I believe, because I never been arrested before. It was shocking experience for me. And around 11, they started to see people. So I got up at 7 in the morning, and I was called to the judge chamber because judge came to see me there. He released me. He gave me personal bond. So the papers, and I couldn't read because I didn't have glasses on. And I had this splitting headache. I asked him for medicine overnight. Nobody, of course, came and gave me medicine. And I was very stressed because I called my daughter. And can you imagine my daughter? She was in such shock. First of all, seeing on her phone that the call comes from county jail, and she hears me on the other end. She started to sob. So I could not sleep because I was worried sick about my daughter. So he railroaded me completely. And my client, I'm a therapist. My client is very high profile criminal lawyer. When he heard that story, he was shocked. And I told them about like house joint resolution and no lawful money. And the lawyer looks at me and said, where did you learn all this? Is it true? I'm like, yeah. He said, where I can find information on that? I'm like, you for real? You never knew that? He said, no. And I bet you judge doesn't know that either. And that US is a corporation. He said, the criminal attorney didn't know that. And my mentor later on, because I was not ready for what happened by any measures, he told me that judge, they act like that. It's like his role. That's what he does. And I asked for oath of office. They didn't give it to me. I asked for bond. They didn't provide it to me. So they just used the scare tactics and it worked. But I didn't fold anyway. And they did jury trial by jury of my peers, and I told him it's not my peers. And every word I was saying, he was threatening me, contempt, contempt. I'm gonna put you in jail. I'm gonna put you in jail. He knew I didn't like it. So he was he was so afraid that I'm recording. So he ordered bailiff, and bailiff was like big, like a sumo wrestler. He took my phone and he started to take my phone apart. Thankfully, I had my eyewitnesses in the courtroom with me, including my daughter. She's 19. And so he literally started to take my phone apart, and judge started to panic. And because I wanted to take a handkerchief out of my pocket, and he goes like, what is in your pocket? What is in your pocket? What are you doing? I'm like, why are you that scared? And so every word I was saying, he was just either ignoring, but I sent my paperwork ahead of all this deal. And I told him every time he asked me, do you understand? I told him I really do not understand. And they selected jury, and I submitted my creditors' papers, secure party.
How'd that work out for you?
He said it doesn't work in Texas. That's what he said, because court is not court of record again, right?
Well,
And I asked them,
Rockwall County Court is actually a court of record.
and that's what they told me.
It is.
And he said,
They have a huge ass building. Their
and
building.
he said, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
They're a
And
court
he
of record.
said,
One question I have.
uh-huh,
Did you actually get sent to the county court, or was it the justice of the peace court?
justice of the peace.
Well, those ain't information.
That's the difference
That-
right though.
Yeah, and I think what's different too is that I don't know what was going on for them to cause you to give you jail time, but what I
10
would
days.
but what I would assume is the aspect that there's some kind of hostility that was going on in the court in some aspect, because over speeding ticket 10 days, that's kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on there. That seems just wild, because we don't normally get people getting 10 days, nor even eligibility to appeal or anything
Because
like that.
I refused to plead. I told him I
But
don't consent to be a surety.
Did you end up filing an appeal or no?
I actually wanted to file an appeal. They wanted me to post another bond. 3 times the amount they charged me. They charged me $800.
For the appeal?
That in
Not for
Texas
the appeal,
unlawful.
the ticket.
That violates Texas Code of Criminal Procedures about appeal bonds, because the appeal bond can be no more than twice the amount of the fines itself. So there's a
And I
violation on
need-
their part right there. And number 2, there is a code in Texas Code of Criminal Procedures, chapter 44. I forget one off the top of my head. There's a code that's called, that is the appeal bond shall not be abridged, or your appeal shall not be abridged. They cannot abridge your right to appeal by an appeal bond, especially because if you're like me, I actually tried to get an appeal bond and they did not, the court didn't know how to get it. None of the bonds people I talked to gave appeal bonds. And the city that I was going through even contacted the county court where I'm currently in the appeals process with right now. And none of them knew where you're supposed to go to get an appeal bond. So I've went through the appeal process without doing an appeal bond or supersedis.
And I needed his approval. I needed judge approval for the appeal.
No, you didn't.
That's what they told
They
me.
lied. They lied to you.
Court
That's all
clerk.
I'm saying is they lied to you.
lied. Yeah.
So
Yeah, they lied to you.
It was my first time. They completely railroaded me. But what happened afterwards? I had 3 tickets in one. It was speeding, and 2 times they give me failed to show the signal to change the line. And what happened? My insurance never went up. It actually went down. And recently, I was stopped near my house. And dude took but I submitted affidavit read, I submitted my secure party documents, so I did that. And what happened, that officer, he took my driver's license, he went to his car, he wanted to give me a ticket, he really did. but he came back faster than he possibly could to give me back my driver's license and tell me, have a great day, ma'am. I'm like, what just happened?
Well, they probably have a do not arrest, do not incarcerate, do not
That's what I
detain,
think.
do not.
That's what I think.
Svetlana, what country are you from? Ukraine or Russia?
Ukraine. I mean,
Ukraine.
I
Okay.
moved here from, I've moved here 25 years ago from Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It was Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So I was born in Soviet Union. I grew up in Kazakhstan. I graduated university in Moscow. I was married to Ukrainian man. So who am I?
Well, one of the nexuses that happens when you become a U.S. citizen is you have to comply with all the code, statutes, and regulations. And
No.
Because you don't know.
That's
No.
100%
The
incorrect.
contract would
It
not
is
be closed.
wholly 100% incorrect.
I'm naturalized, and we have the same rights as any person who was born in the United States of America. Period.
And I told him,
you're a U.S. citizen.
I took
You
up the oath to be naturalized. I took up the oath of the Constitution to uphold the Constitution and its laws. Nothing else.
It's so crazy. Hold on. It's so crazy because is nobody looking at the complaints that I file into the court? Y'all don't see I'm using the 14th Amendment? Hello. Enough said right there. Stop playing with me, man. That is not
Hey,
true.
what state were you nationalized in?
me, California.
Cool. That's good because you weren't naturalized in Washington, D.C., so therefore you're a state national.
And I told to the judge, I'm not U.S. citizen. He asked me, what are you? I said, state national. He ignored everything I was saying, but my mentor at the time, he said, ignored everything they say. See what they do. And I
They corrupt.
realized
That shit don't work. Y'all keep talking about they corrupt. That shit don't work. You can't just sit here and say I'm a state national and now nothing applies to me. I don't know what y'all don't get about that. I don't know how long I've been saying it. There ain't no magic thing, status that you're gonna get and just everything disappear. Maybe you get really protected once you get your shit in the trust, like what we've been going through. But beyond all this, I'm just a state national, so I don't have to listen or do anything. There's a process for it all.
Totally incorrect.
Yeah, totally incorrect. The process is rebut that shit and stand on your rights and reserve them. If they want to violate them, they can do so. It ain't got nothing else to do. No filing of your status. You got to pass. Nothing else applies other than you knowing who you are. I don't know how many times I got to say it.
Your status and standing is the Constitution. The United States Supreme Law of the Land is the Constitution.
Everybody want to run around and what is the trick to be free? Your mind is the trick to be free.
You're right,
That's
Ken.
it.
Your mind. Your mind is what makes you free, man.
That's
Can
all
y'all
it
hear
boils
me?
down to. That's it.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, let me give y'all let me tell you what I did when I went to jail. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'll tell you what I did. When I went to jail, as soon as they took me in there and took them handcuffs off, I told them that I don't submit to anything. I'm not signing nothing. I'm not doing anything. And I went into the jail and got out of the jail and never signed one document. And I watched all those other guys in there signing documents, doing their fingerprints. Now, I did have to do a photo and fingerprints because they threatened me. And under duress, I did the fingerprints and the photo, but I never signed any paperwork, going into the jail or getting out of the jail. I never signed anything. Even seeing the magistrate, I didn't sign anything. And they talk in that place, and I already told them, I said, I'm going to sue all you motherfuckers. And but I was nice. I was nice to them, but I said, I'm suing all you motherfuckers that's involved in this illegal arrest. And the magistrate already had refused to sign on the paperwork when I went to see him. So they had already talked and told them, basically, don't fuck with me. And they didn't, man. They were as nice as they could be in that jail. But I just want to tell you guys, everyone that's listening, if you go to jail, you do not have to sign anything. Because I didn't. I didn't even sign the fingerprint card. I didn't sign anything. Even when they give me my clothes back, I just had a pair of sweat shorts and a pair of flip flops, and I didn't sign for nothing. And I was watching all them other guys and they're signing and doing their fingerprints to get out of jail, you know, to leave. And I didn't do any of that. So if you go to jail, you do not have to sign anything. Don't sign anything. Be nice to them, but tell them you're going to sue them. That's
What?
my advice.
What'd they threaten you with?
Give them notice.
What'd they threaten you with when you didn't
Well,
sign?
when I went to jail, I told them, I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not signing anything. Well, about 4 o'clock in the morning, he was a little short guy, but he was he was a stocky guy, real stocky. I wasn't afraid of him, but he was stocky. And he come in there and he said, let me tell you what's going to happen. He said, if you don't do the fingerprints and the photograph, I'm going to bring my team of guys in here, about 6 guys, and we're going to pick you up and take you in there and make you do that. And I said, all right, is your body cam working? And he said it was. And I said, all right, under threat of duress, and if you're going to beat me up, I'm going to do the fingerprints and the photograph. And that's all I did. And we've already ordered the body cam, you know, to see if it was really recording. But I did not sign, but I didn't sign anything, y'all. I'm telling you, nothing. No, they never got my signature on anything through that whole deal. You know, and I was, you know, it's the first time I've really actually spent the night in jail. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So I didn't know what would give or what wouldn't. And I figured that when I wouldn't sign my way out of there, they wasn't gonna let me out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in my mind, these fuckers ain't gonna let me out if I don't sign.
Yeah.
But I told them, I said, I ain't signing shit. And then they want you to see the nurse. And I said, I don't need to see no fucking nurse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I didn't see no nurse. I didn't answer none of their fucking questions.
Yeah.
I told them I don't consent to anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not signing anything.
Hey,
And I
Russell,
stayed, yeah.
you're YouTube famous. I just seen a notice that you're on Here's the Deal.
Oh, I figured he was going to do it. Is he doing it?
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah, he's on right now, dude. On Here's the Deal. We're gonna get paid. YouTube famous, bro.
Well, guys,
Hey,
listen,
hey,
man.
did he?
You know,
Hey, did he end up calling you?
no, nobody's called me.
He didn't call you. I gave him your number. He always do
But
that. He always asks for y'all's number and then says he's gonna call. Cause I was like, yo,
Hey,
this video needs to get blown up. And they
hey,
what's up?
but I'm gonna tell you guys something, man. I got 5 little girls in this car with me right here,
Yeah.
and I've got to teach them how to be free. And if I don't go through the trenches, I can't teach them. You know, they got to see me go to jail, see me get handcuffed, see me to get out, because I want them free in their life. And the only way I can show them to be free is me do it.
Straight up. You got to be the leader of that. Yeah.
Hey, look
Yep,
at this one right
yep.
here. Y'all see this little baby right here? She's
Yeah.
9 months
Yes.
old,
Oh,
Yeah.
and she don't have no paperwork, no birth certificate, no social security
Yeah.
number.
right on.
She's
The way to
she's
go.
Yeah,
100 she's 100% free. I walked out of Weatherford Hospital with no paperwork. They say you can't get out of the hospital without that bullshit. You call me and I'll tell you how to do it.
Hey, we know we signed it out.
That's beautiful.
You
You should
Yeah.
you should get your children the jurisdictionary course material to get their feet wet. Start
Oh
getting
man,
them.
all they really got to do is go take courses from Alira. Alira's about to have their doctorates in that. She's certified.
Dude,
Alira's
I'm
certified.
taking this quiz still.
shit, all they got to do is watch Daddy.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
well,
keep your placenta? I'm curious when you went and had a hospital birth and didn't do any paperwork.
Yeah, mine's
Yes.
did on mine's.
Yes.
Hey, let me tell you about that. We went on Friday. They said she needed to go in to get induced on Friday. And we signed, or I told her, I said, make sure and sign all the documents they want you to sign with UCC 1-308 without prejudice, all rights reserved. And she did.
Yeah.
And they were going to put her on that stuff to, you know, induce labor, Pitocin. And they come in there freaking out. They said, what the hell? What's this signature and stuff? I said, we don't sign anything without reserving our rights.
Yeah.
And the big wigs come to talk to us. And I told them, I said, I'm not getting any paperwork. I'm not doing your contract. We're not doing it. And finally, like I say, she had the baby about 6 that afternoon.
6:46.
And I left, you know, I went home because hell, this is her 5th kid. So hell, she's a pro at it. So I went home so I could sleep in my bed. And anyway, they snuck the paperwork in their tour. And I'm going to tell y'all a couple things. They snuck the paperwork in there, and the next morning we signed it all. Your offer to contract's not accepted. UCC 1-308 without prejudice. All rights reserved in red Sharpie on every page. And we handed it to them and walked out the door. Hey, but listen, you asked me about the
Nice.
placenta. See, I've been studying on that too, and I told that doctor, I said, we're not going to cut the cord until after the placenta comes out. And, you know, he didn't understand that. So what they did, the baby came out, and they handed the baby to her. And then I didn't cut the cord until after the placenta came out. And then we kept the placenta and had it made into pill form. But they told me that
Nice.
we had to get the placenta out of the hospital within 30 minutes is what they told me. And also one more
Yeah,
thing, one more thing, they want you to do the footprints on that paper. And I told them, and see, we told them the baby didn't have a name, because that's where they get you when you give them a name. You don't want to tell them a name. So I told them, I said, I'm not leaving no paperwork here with footprints on it. So when they did the footprint card, I got it and kept it on me and on my person. And then when we left the hospital, before we walked out, I tore that paper into a million little pieces.
But we took a picture of it first.
Yeah, we took a picture of it, but I tore it in a million pieces. So that hospital don't have any footprints. Now they just got a baby was born with the weight and the height and all that stuff,
Right on.
but with no name. And there's nothing in the state of Texas with that little baby's name on it.
Well, it's funny because that foundling, the placenta, is registered is certified when you look at the definition of born alive as being a separate human person. So what they do is they issue a birth certificate for that, and then they issue a death certificate and put that estate into probate.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, actually, you know, I wished I would have took pictures of the paperwork they give us, but I didn't. But the whole fraud is when mama writes a child's legal name on that very top line. And that's where it all comes
Yeah,
from.
because the biometrics, the notification of birth doesn't have a name on it. All it has on it is the biometrics, the weight, the lengths, etc., etc. So, yeah.
All right, yo, check this out. So I wanted to bring y'all's attention to something that's pretty cool that actually happened this week. What ended up happening is this refrigerator over here, or the one previous that was sitting here, actually went out on me last month on like the 13th. And when that bad boy went out, you know, we actually lost our last child's placenta because we still hadn't got it made into pills yet. So that was pretty tragic. But also a lot of salmon, meat, just a lot of stuff, and went out overnight. So yeah, I guess in the middle of the night, and we just didn't know. We'll pay attention and really see it. So that being said, we ended up
Real
going
fast,
to
Cam.
yeah.
It's that screen share. It's showing both of your screens.
Oh, I don't know
There.
how that works then. Let's see. So if I do share both of my screens, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it had your picture next to your screen share.
Oh. I see what you're saying. Okay, boom. That's better, right?
Yes, perfect.
All right,
Thank
straight
you.
up. Yeah. Appreciate it. So again, what ended up happening is I sent a certified return receipt notice and demand for rent abatement, a compensatory damages, and sworn affidavit. And this again is pursuant to the Washington Resident Landlord Tenant Act, codified at 5918, and the Washington Consumer Protection Act, codified at RCW 98 or 1986, and common law. So no matter what we do, we still bring in common law always into what we be doing. That's clear. So formal notice and demand. We went through the formal notice. I let them know of the legal foundations for the liability as far as the implied warranty, the constructive partial eviction, a covenant of quiet enjoyment. Again, all these are tied to RCWs and the violations that they've caused. Negligence, gross delay in Consumer Protection Act footnotes, and then the quantification of damages, right? The rent abatement calculations, the special and consequential damages, totaling out to $1,100 or almost $1,200, right? I made a demand, right, instead of a command, and I let them know who I was, attorney in fact, reservation of rights, sworn affidavit of fact, okay? And that's pretty much it, right? Sent that over, had that notarized. The next damn day, not even 12 hours later, we got an email stating, I hope y'all are both doing well. Wanted to let y'all know we already did a rent credit of $1,170, exactly like I requested. So what I'm trying to show you is no matter what the situation is in this life, you dig what I'm talking about? You can bring your power and bring it forth and get the remedy on anything. Your life, liberty, and the pursuit of your damn happiness is the biggest thing in this life. And you will continue to lose until you find out that principal core truth. You are to be respected. You are to be honored. You are to be given gratitude. You are to be given thanks, just like we are to do the same to our great creator, because we are all a part of that great creator. It's a duty, bro. So I just wanted to show y'all, it don't matter what aspect we in, bro. It don't matter if it's criminal law, if it's just sitting here on contracts between me and property management or anybody else, which we about to show with my last client. I think I'm about to submit on his ass. He owe me 100 racks. So, yeah. I just want y'all to know that, Troy, it looks like you're enjoying yourself out there traveling. Got that sun shining on you. All right, my boy. Looks like Russell's out moving and shaking as well. Y'all stay safe out there in your travels. This one's going to come to a close here pretty soon as far as on the recording side to YouTube. Not yet. Y'all, I know how y'all like to talk and mash out and figure out some things on the back end. But I wanted to see just kind of any closing thoughts on anything coming from Ty or just Julie. Come on up. You already know what's good, girl.
Hey, I wanted to try and see if we could have a moment of silence, whether you want it after recording is done or not, that we had a member in our group that his partner, his love, passed away recently. She took her life. We need to have a moment of silence for her and send AJ all of our healing energy, love, high frequency, high vibration love that we can possibly muster. Losing a loved one is just, it shakes your entire foundation. If we can just send him love and compassion and strength and the ability to get through this, if we could.
Thank you, Julie.
For sure.
Yeah, I want to give y'all AJ's number. AJ's been a pretty heavy supporter of his wife and the situation, and it is like pretty tragic what's happened. He was on Brian's channel as well. Right after I got done speaking, they came on and told their situation. They finally came into the Discord, and we got to working with them. They went out to campaign in Washington D.C. Yeah, it's a rough situation, man. That's why I say you never know when you're gonna lose the ones that you. And it's just very unfortunate of the aspect that he had to, she had definitely gotten some apparently mental damage from the police, and this could definitely stem from that interaction. And so it's turned up into a new level. Things have gotten real egregious out here. You can see the turn of events, and it really makes you again appreciate every moment that you got, because you never know when your whole world is just gonna turn upside down, like literally.
Allah. Thank you so much, Cam, for sharing today. I was very surprised. I was invited on this from Kevin, and I'm glad I showed up. I thank you so much for presenting today. And Alira, God bless you, young lady, and
Hey, Thomas.
I wish everybody a blessed day.
Well, this kind of is just going. I don't know what anybody else wants to get into right now. We're just coming up to the close. Anybody else got any comments or anything you want to look into?
Hey, Cam, I was wondering, so how are you going about figuring out the monetary amount per suit?
Okay, how do we do that? You look around your local regional area to see what is accounted for or close to. But a lot of the times things are going to get real fishy and different when you're bringing in things and claims such as I do, because I fall under the American Disabilities Act.
Gotcha.
You dig what I'm saying? So it all depends because you got normal, then you got normal plus medical, then you got normal plus medical plus irreparable harm. You dig what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So it depends on how you gonna take it, and it's really hard to actually calculate because all we are normally seeing is these lawyers come in on one or two principles and not necessarily all of them. And that's the disadvantage of moving forward with an attorney to represent you is that you don't come in and present yourself with everything, right? So
Gotcha. What is it? The Trezevant versus Tampa case, city of Tampa case. It's like 23 minutes he was locked up, awarded 25,000, so it equaled out to be like $1,086 per minute.
yeah, that's not going to work when there's irreparable harm because irreparable harm is again can't monetarily be valued. So if you really can't put a monetary value on the aspect of the irreparable harm that will cease or will not cease to exist, how can you determine it? Like it goes beyond the determination in which they see fit. Like so, it gets real complicated because I can argue some real deep logic there that would cause some issues.
So there'd be like two separate judgments there.
I don't want to say there'd be two separate judges. I just say there'd be some good, strong arguments that have to go back and forth and get wrung out before I could give any positive answer on that. Because I know if it comes across on my aspect, I'm going to strongly, heavily argue that there's irreparable harm that has been caused here. So
Gotcha. Irreparable harm is priceless. I got you understood.
yeah.
One more thing, Cam. Are these
Up, Joe?
meetings held every Saturday?
Oh yeah, bro. Saturday and Wednesday night, dude. We mash out in Operation Wisedome. Look at that one guy. Look at that one guy show up. Look at that one guy show up. Damn. Look at that one guy show up. What's up, dude?
What's up? Not much, man. So
What's
I
up?
was work out. You know that masterclass I made a video about.
Yeah.
So I redid the whole thing. So I was just working on that, and my brain got tired, and so I went to Instagram, just went on your stories, and I saw the links. Like, let me just hop in here and see what he talking
Yeah,
about.
you better go see
But no, I came in towards the end, but it's like, nah.
You did. We at the end, but I mean,
Yeah.
people still keep going. We're just on the end on YouTube. So, since you're going to be on YouTube still, you want to say something to YouTube? Go ahead. I'll let you take the floor for a sec.
Who, me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I ain't got nothing to say right now.
Come on, man. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do. Come on now.
For those who
Morris
don't know,
Lighthouse, peace,
my
brother.
name is Jalil Bey, aka Morris Lighthouse. I am the adverse possession guy and many other things that I do. But when I first got on here, there was a gentleman talking about his situation with the hospital and the placenta and all that, and that's very personal to me because that's one of the first things that I did on this journey that we all go through. When I had my daughter, I got the placenta, but what I did was like we took it back home and buried it, just for religious purposes and things of that nature. So, but anyways, I don't know what else to say right now, but for everyone that's tuned in, again, I don't know if any of the members who went to the actual event, I am working on that masterclass like literally today, trying to have it finished up by at least Wednesday. So that's coming real soon. So stay tuned for that.
That's what's up, bro. Yeah, you're gonna
Hell
have
yeah,
to.
we can't wait. We cannot wait, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show up too a little bit more if you're gonna keep doing all this promotion on my damn channel, bro. Damn, I mean, shit. You
Hey,
gonna
did you tell me to introduce myself?
Yeah, nah.
But no, but specifically, like this is for the people that's in the group or in your group, specifically the ones that went to the event. So
yeah,
I'm not trying to do a whole bunch of
No,
promo.
you should. It was, when we showed off the iPad of the message, everybody really took that in. They were really actually hopeful to see you come through. And for our next one, which we're planning for the last week of August, it'd be nice if maybe we could have you come through and visit, and be a part of that.
Yeah.
I think everybody would greatly appreciate to have some time if you're available. So we'll just see if that's availability. I'm not gonna throw it on you too hard yet, but
yeah,
we'd love to have you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Moab is amazing. It's beautiful, gorgeous in Moab. Holy crap.
Yeah, so today's been really, really cool. I think I'm just gonna say bye for YouTube, and we're gonna be talking in on the back end. That's how we always do it. Sometimes it goes for 7 hours, sometimes it doesn't. But if everybody just wants to unmute real quick and say bye to YouTube, because we out.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
You're missing out on the Wisedome.
Exactly.
That one
Come
guy
join for the
is
real fun.
The
That
real
one guy
YouTube.
that's not, that one guy that's not me.